Here is your podcast.
You know, I've been doing this show 9 years. In the beginning, it was great. I got to show up and just talk and leave. That was fantastic. But now Mex sends me this theme song, tells me to put my own voice in it. Lily shows up. She doesn't produce a goddamn thing. All she does is laugh, turn around, and go home. The only thing I don't wind up doing for this show is listen to it. That's your fucking job.
Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast? I know what you're thinking to yourselves. You're like, Mike, how about a little continuity with this show? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be cool if you were someone we could count on? I mean, this show used to come out on Tuesday mornings, and then I think we changed it to Wednesday mornings, and now it comes out on Thursday mornings, and here it is Thursday. Well, it's Thursday morning now as I record this. So technically, I'm still on time if I can get this done in the next 5 minutes. Probably can't. And also, I'm really quiet. I will explain why all of these things make sense in a moment, or why they're happening, I should say. So I've been traveling, and I'm still scrambled, and my body's still kind of fucked up jet lag wise, and I'm falling asleep at weird times and only getting a certain amount of time in the sack, and I'm sleeping in microbursts, and these are all excuses for you, you the listener, as I, the podcaster, am not doing the job I'm supposed to do. I should be coming to you every Thursday morning. You should wake up, and there it is. Red bow on it, Santa came down the chimney and left you a box full of fucking stupidness, a box full of dumb. I told him to. I told him to leave you a box full of dumb. Unfortunately, I was not able to get him the box full of dumb, or the dumb, I should say. I don't get him the box. Santa provides the box, right? That guy, he does all the packaging, those fucking elves, and they box it all up. I'm the one who sends the dumb straight forward up to Santa at the North Pole. And I actually got to deliver it right to his doorstop, because doorstop? Yeah, I didn't get to the doorstep. They forced me to stand out at a doorstop and give him to him there. You're probably wondering why I'm so quiet. You're probably wondering why I'm not loud as I usually am, or shouty. Well, this is the new me, man. This is the way the show's going to be right now. I'm elegantly whispering into your ear. There's like a million sex podcasts where they're like, oh yeah, take your pants off and show me your vagina. Well, I've decided to join their ranks, although I don't want to see your vaginas. Please, do me a favor, cover them up. You can have them uncovered while I'm doing the show, certainly. But if I see you, don't go, hey, Mike, I heard what you said on the show, and guess what? So ta-da! Is that the proper phrase for presenting a vagina? A strange vagina? Ta-da! That would make you know what, let's do that. If you guys have one-night stands, if you ever do anything like that, just for me, if you meet anybody on Tinder, or you go out and you meet some new person, ladies, if you bring this person home and you deem them worthy of some sack time, and that sounds awful, right? I mean, you're goddesses. You don't want to share your vagina with somebody and call it sack time. That doesn't make any sense. You want to make love to them in a tender fashion. Although that may be difficult after you take off your pants and go, ta-da! Which is what you should do. I'm telling you, that's as a guy, I will tell you this. If a woman and I wound up in Congress, in sexual Congress, and before we started, like I slid her this is going to be descriptive, and I apologize, but I slid her panties up over her thighs and over her calves and then over my shoulder, and her ankles were on my shoulder, and she went, ta-da! I would be motivated to do an even better job than I thought I was going to do. I would grab that person and go, yes, you are exactly what I've been looking for. I should tell you, that's exactly what the lovely Jill did to me. She just said, ta-da! She actually does it every time. That would be weird. What would be weirder is if she did do that and I told you about it. That would just be kind of freaky. But ladies, I'm telling you right now, that's the thing to do. Anybody you meet on Grindr, ladies, you're not meeting anybody on Grindr. I'll tell you what, ladies, if you do meet somebody on Grindr, that's the time to use ta-da. That's when, because you're dressing up like a dude. You're going all Hillary Swank, and you're about to get tied to a fence. But before that, you take your pants off and go ta-da, and then of course you wind up tied to the fence. I think I'm blending a real life and a movie there, possibly. Although the movie was based on real life, I'm not sure. This is almost like a weird whisper show, but I got to explain to you why. I was in Kuwait for a couple of weeks, 10 days on the ground, 2 days in the air, and I came home on Sunday of this week. And I was getting home. Here was my plan. I was getting home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, and I was going to go to my house. And I was going to turn on the air conditioning and just sit in my chair and watch UFC fights and whatever the fuck else, and then nod off. I was going to take a full day of doing nothing. And then I would have Monday to take care of a lot of different business, like this show and other things. And then Tuesday, I was going to be heading off to Denver to go see my great friend Dennis Bianucci. I don't know why I used his last name, Evil Dennis. We'll call him from the 40-year-old boy podcast. He's certainly from that, but also he's from the UN of Evil. And I should tell you this: he asked me yesterday at dinner. What the fuck? He wondered why he was Evil Dennis, and I tried to explain to him why. So I'm in Denver now, so I get off the plane Sunday, and like I said, our great friend Erica, great friend of the show and great friend of mine, was coming to pick me up. Even though she couldn't, she dropped me at the airport to go to Kuwait, and I had told her, I go, hey, look, I'm coming back on this date. She's like, can't do it. I've got a Disney group I attend, which I don't know what the fuck that means. Do they all dress up like Mickey Mouse and Fantasia and sweep the floor? I have no clue what they do. They got brooms following them around. They all dress up as Donald Duck and teach me math in a film from the high school years. But she's in a Disney group where they collect stuff, or they're all Disney fans, or they're Imagineers, or whatever the fuck they are. So she's like, I don't know if I can pick you up, but go ahead and contact me, and if I can, I will. But I think I'm going to be down in Orange County. And I should tell you, that's a leap for Erica, because literally, if I ever text her and I go, hey Erica, can I? And she just says yes immediately. So if she's got something scheduled, that's a big deal for her. Because she's been doing this thing where she's been getting out of the house a lot more often, my great friend Erica, which is good, because she used to be just kind of trapped in her house and taking care of her family. And now she said, hey, fuck you, family. That's not true. But she was like, hey, I'm going to go out and live life. And I'm proud of her. She's actually I know the feeling when you decide, you know what, fuck this. I got to grab the reins on this thing and make it work again. And she's done that. So I was really happy. And then she's going to Disney. So I was like, well, of course, I can absolutely, because she's always saying yes to me. And she feels terrible for saying no. And I'm like, well, dude, you don't have to feel terrible about it. That's nice of you that you want to do things for me all the time. But I'm a grown-up. I'll get home. It's fine. It'll be a hassle, and thanks a lot for nothing. But other than that, it'll be fine, because I'm the master of the guilt trip. I was in Kuwait, and texting and stuff in Kuwait that was kind of a freak out, man. Because AT&T told me I could text all the time. They were like, yeah, no problem, just text constantly. And because I had to buy a fucking gold package. I think they had a bronze package, a silver package, and a gold package. It was $120. And all I got 800 megabytes of data, unlimited texting, and phone calls were like 35 cents a minute. And I wasn't going to call anybody in Kuwait. That wasn't happening. But I needed to text, sometimes. So Erica texted, but the problem is I would text somebody, or they would text me, and they wouldn't get it for 3 days. Or I would get them multiple times. Like Ahmad started to text me. I'll tell you that story in a second. But Dave texted me, but it didn't come for like 5 hours. Or he texted me and I got it right away, and then 10 hours later, the same texts came in from him. My phone would go off. I'd look down. I'm like, what is he talking about here? This makes no sense. But then I realized it was the text from fucking hours ago, repeating itself. History repeats itself, folks. And texts are nothing if not a thumb-typed history. So Erica, when I was overseas, she texted me and she said, hey, look, I'm picking you up from the airport. No problem. And I wrote her and I said, okay, well, look, if anything changes, that's fine. But I get in, here's the flight information. She goes, no, I'm picking you up. Do not change it. Absolutely, I will be there. And it seemed a little strong, seemed a little adamant for me, as if she were coming with the authorities to throw me in jail and make sure I did not escape. But that was fine. I was getting a ride home either way. Whether I had my hands cuffed or not, I was going to get out of the fucking airport on time. Perfect. So Sunday, I was texting her back and forth, and I'm like, we're flying, and it looks like everything's on time. And also, it's tricky telling somebody to pick you up from the airport when there's international stuff involved. I think I told you once before, I picked up my friend Pat's wife, and she had to get through customs and do fucking somersaults and all the other bullshit that they had to do. And I wasn't aware what that would be like. Like when I flew, I should tell you this. I talked a little bit about Kuwait last week. When I flew at LAX, they checked my bags and I had to take the shoes off and all that stuff. But then when I got to Dubai, they actually had to do security again on my bags. And by the way, you also don't have to take your shoes off overseas. Well, first of all, because everybody's wearing fucking sandals, they can see there's no danger. But I had to take my laptop out in Dubai, but that was it. But then I didn't have to take it out in Kuwait. They scanned my bags leaving the airport in Dubai and in Kuwait. I don't know if they thought I built a bomb on the fucking plane. I couldn't figure it out because I flew from LA, and I've got this carry-on bag. It's been with me the whole fucking time. What are you looking for? But I guess if they would have found it, they would have told me. But apparently I didn't have whatever they were looking for. I can tell you this, at the Dubai airport, they still haven't found what they're looking for. um, so here in America, I told Erica, I said, look, America and Erica, that kind of rhymed. I said, I don't know when I will be out of the airport. I don't know when I'll be moving or going or getting out because I land at 1:55, but then I know I have to check in with these people and get customs and get them to look at my stuff, and they're going to, I don't know, stare at 9 bags. And she said, no problem, just keep me posted. Whenever you're there, keep me posted. So when I landed in LA from Kuwait, I had to go through. I must tell you, when I flew home from Kuwait, I was actually getting a little annoyed with the whole process. Like, it was that thing where you're in the home stretch. I'm very bad at the hassle. Like, I can be in my hotel room, and I know that there's like a steam room and a spa downstairs. And if I could snap my fingers and just get there, that'd be fantastic. But I know this sounds pathetically lazy, but to throw on swim trunks and throw on shoes and then walk all the way down there and check in and give them my key, it's a weird hassle for me. And it's not really a fucking hassle. I have to be the laziest person in the world, or I just don't want to make any effort. I can't figure. This is why I go to fucking see Shannon every goddamn week. I don't know why I don't do that. When Jill and I are planning something, and I'll go away a little bit in my head, and she's like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I'm just trying to figure out the time and how we get there, and packing the suitcase, and we got to get to the hotel, and making sure we can get the Uber, and I go through all the details in my fucking head." Rather than just living them, I try to get the ducks in a row in my brain, and then of course I fuck that up, and I'm concentrating on it. And she's like, "Why aren't you talking?" And I go, "I don't know, because I hate the hassle of all this. I just want to snap my fingers and be in fucking Dubai." But Erica was gonna pick me up, so I texted her. I'm like, "All right, I'm here. I'm there." I got into customs, and you had to go from the plane. There's a stampede because you don't want to be in line too long. And I've never come back into the country, obviously. I did it with Canada, but that wasn't that big a deal. But here, there was a long line of people, and they had told us on the plane, they gave me a thing to fill out to declare any customs stuff. Things I may have purchased, and, my name and address, my passport number, all that nonsense. So I filled it out while we were flying, and then my land, I realized you don't fucking need it in Los Angeles. They've got machines. All you gotta do is jam your passport in, and it scans it, and it tells you where you were and where you're going, and you gotta put a thumbprint and smile, and they take a photo, and it gives you a slip of paper, and that lets you walk through. So I got in line, and I'm behind, Asian family of 15, and Indian family of 9, and that's the good news, is they all get to use one machine. So if it's a family of 9, they have to use the same machine and keep putting all their passports in. It's not like a family of 9 can monopolize the entire fucking kiosk, because that would drive everybody crazy. So all these kiosks are lined up, and there's families and people and smells. Oh my God, the smells, folks, the smells. The Middle East is full of smells, and then a lot of them get on the plane with you, and they follow you to America, and you go, boy, I hope I can ditch this smell around the corner. And then all of a sudden you're like, nope, there's Cardamom Jones. He still smells. There's a lot of cologne over there, and a lot of spices over there, and a lot of incense, and it's not even incense. It's just the general smell of the world over there. I don't know if there's just, juniper and cumin and cardamom just being ground into the ground at all times by people as they walk through on their sandals and they step on it. Or if, because if people have beads, it's a whole ritual over there, folks, with spices and beads. Actually, spices and beads, that's not a bad, I'd open a shop out there called Spices and Beads. I would fucking clean up. Sandals, spices, and beads? Dude, I would totally make tons of money in Kuwait. So when I landed here in America, I get in the line, and all the people are there. I finally get to my kiosk. I jam the passport in there. They take a photo of me where I just look so grim. Like, it said, "Are you ready for your photo?" And I kind of looked up, and it snapped it right away. I didn't even get to give the Schmidt smirk. I didn't get to do any of it. No dimple. Awful. Just looked like a convict. So then it spits out a printed photograph of you on a piece of paper, and you hand that to the guy, and you get to go away. You get to come back into America. It's like a hall pass for America. There you go. But all of a sudden it spits mine out, and it's got a giant X through it, which is disheartening. I'm not going to lie to you when you see your face with a big X through it. And it says, you must visit there are more questions needed. Your passport was not accepted. You must visit an officer. And you know me. All right. I guess I didn't really expect it to be easy, but also I didn't expect the families of Indians and Pakistanis and Kuwaitis and Dubaians and Saudi Arabians to just walk past me as I had to stand in line to talk to an American officer to get back into my goddamn country. And I don't say that in a weird patriotic way, and I don't say that in any sort of they don't belong here way. I say it in a fuck you kiosk. How are you to judge me when you let the Rasputin family walk right the fuck through? But that's the way it worked. And maybe they travel more because, I don't use the passport very often. So maybe they're like, we got to make sure this is the dude. And maybe it could have been because I didn't smile in the photograph. They're like, well, you know what? We only want happy people in America. We don't know what the fuck your problem is. So I go and I stand in the line and I'm waiting. And and I should say there's like English people in line and Australians because it's this convergence. When we flew into Dubai, there was only like one plane that landed, one or two. But in America, everybody's fucking landing in Los Angeles, and then they're all converging downstairs, and it's just this veritable of UN of people with X's through their goddamn faces. So we're all standing in line waiting to talk to the dude, and he's waving people forward. There's 5 kiosks, so it went quick. It's not like I was delayed, really. But at the same time, when someone's picking you up and you don't know what time you're going to be upstairs and you're not sure, because I had told her to an hour. I said I get into town at 1:55, but if you got there at 3, that should be okay. Because I was assuming it would not be that long, that big a deal. Because as I mentioned before, when I got into Kuwait, they said the visa would take 45 minutes. It took, 6 minutes? 5 minutes? So getting into the country here, I just assumed an hour and hoped it would be less. And if it was less, then I could just fucking sit outside. Who cares? I'm in America again. I'd spend most of that time kissing the sidewalk. So she was great about it. She said, no problem. Just let me know when you're outside. So I waited in line. I went up to the guy. He looked at my passport. And he goes, hey, you've landed in Los Angeles. Is that a mistake? So now I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I got flagged for. Am I on some terrorist watch list? Because I have a TSA pre-number and all that. They know who the fuck I am. I'm in all of the goddamn computers. But he looks at my thing. He's like, hi, how are you? He looks at the passport and he says, hey, you're in Los Angeles. Are you sure you're in the right place? I said, I am. I just flew in from Dubai. And he goes, well, I see your name is Mike Schmidt. Are you sure you're not supposed to be going to Philadelphia? And there was a simultaneous feeling of relief and annoyance with the guy because it's like, hey, man, I appreciate you want to have a great conversation with me and you want to talk a little baseball, but I was just on a fucking plane for 22 hours, and I don't know if I'm up for glib gab back and forth with the guy I've never met about baseball. But I put on my brave face. You know me. I can talk to anybody at any time about anything. So I said, oh my God, yeah. I go, it's great, right? I go, I was a huge fan of his growing up. I went to visit the Hall of Fame, and he goes, oh yeah, it's weird. We don't get a lot of athletes through here. I said, that seems strange because they're traveling internationally, and certainly. And he goes, well, we've had basketball players. He goes, the Lakers have come through a few times, but not a lot of baseball guys. I go, well, that makes no sense because there's the Dominican Republic. They play overseas in those leagues, Puerto Rico and Venezuela. I'm sure they're traveling for that. And because I'm trying to keep up the illusion of small talk because I don't want them to look at my bag, just because I don't want to be delayed. I have nothing in my bag to hide. I just don't want anybody to get into an argument and say, oh, hold on a second, sir. These socks don't look American. And I should tell you, I don't even have my suitcase yet, by the way. All I have is my computer bag and stuff. So I still have to go to baggage check. You have to go through this stuff just to get the baggage claim. So he goes, yeah, one time Reggie Bush came through my line. I said, oh, great. And I said, take that guy out, Reggie Bush, by year 2. I think it's the Possum Show. Or no, Reggie Bush was after the Possum Show. They weren't the same show, right? There was take this guy out, Reggie Bush, because I saw a fight and a guy in a Reggie Bush jersey. Never mind. Go by year 2. Or year 3? Year 2. I'm not sure. So he said Reggie Bush was like one of his favorite football players, and he loved USC. And he said to the guy, he's like, "Oh my God, Reggie Bush, I love you." And he goes, "Yeah, you're on my favorite team, the Dolphins." And Reggie Bush goes, "Yeah, man, I don't know why they cut me." Now, mind you, this guy's telling me this whole story while I'm standing there, and I got no problem recounting his encounters with the famous and the rich. That's cool, but at the same time, I'd like to get back to America because I had a ride waiting for me upstairs. But you can't just go, "Hey, dude, enough of this bullshit." Because I'm just trying to tiptoe back into my own country and not get sent back to Dubai, the land of cardamom and juniper, and whatever the fuck else they've got in the air, cloves, and spices, and nonsense. So he's very nice, and he tells me Reggie Bush was a nice person. He felt like a jerk for saying, "Oh, you're on my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins," and not forgetting that they had cut him. And I know this sounds like it took 15 minutes, but it only took about 8. But still, 8 is long. And I also didn't know, what he wanted to see from me other than the passport, but he didn't ask for an ID or anything. So he's got my passport. We're having this little short chat, and finally he's just like, chung chung, welcome home. And I said, fantastic, great, thank you. And oh, by the way, he didn't stamp my passport. He stamped the thing that had my X face, my face X, my face with the X through it. He stamped that. So I made my way through his kiosk, and then I hustled up the baggage claim. And when I got there, that's a zoo because it's people, flying from everywhere on every single airline. And I'm at my own baggage carousel. And I should tell you this because everybody's down in customs. The baggage carousel people, they just unload your bags and they stack them up on the side. So I'm waiting at the belt, waiting for it to go in. And there's a lot of shovey people come into town, into America, because they have no concept of personal space. They don't have any real idea of giving you room or saying excuse me or not bumping into you or not elbowing you in the fucking ribs or whatever the fuck else they got on their mind. There was a dude, because I was going to tell you about this, I was coming into town, and of course by town I mean the United States of America. It's probably a little bigger than a town, I would imagine. But there was this dude and he was on my flight from Kuwait to Dubai. And then, like I said, we had to hustle from the plane to get to security and then get through security because the walk in Dubai from one gate to the other was like 35 minutes. I had to take 2 elevators, a train, fucking skateboard, camel, rickshaw. They had all ethnicities represented there. By the way, I have no idea what ethnicity an elevator is. White people, probably. Lazy white people. Escalators. Elevators? Nah, escalators are for lazy white people. Elevators are for everyone. They're for all of us. Please board them. God, I got caught in a loop there. So I got off the plane, and we're hustling to get to the fucking security thing and get through in Dubai. And there was a small guy, and when I say small, I mean probably like 5'3", and he kept trying to keep up with me, which was the weirdest thing. Like even on the moving walkway and then on the walking through, he kept trying to cut in front of me, and then when we'd get in line, he'd stand directly next to me instead of behind me in line, and he kept trying to move and cut and move and cut, and he was going to Los Angeles too, so he was virtually neck and neck with me, and I don't know if he just picked me out and decided I'm going to race the American dude. I have no idea, but he kept being right on my heels, and then he'd be alongside me, and then he'd be on my heels, he'd be alongside me, and then I would kind of give him like a 3/4 to try to fucking box him out. Because I got some history in the paint. I can lame bear you. I can Duckworth you. But he kept doing it where he'd fall behind and then he'd somehow catch up to me and he kept trying to cut in front of me. And so after we got through security in Dubai, we were heading through in elevators and things, and he's on the elevator with me, he's off and on the train with me. And then we got in the second elevator and I'm standing in front of the door for the second elevator and it opens and he's behind me and he tries to push past me even while people are walking out. And the flight home was frustrating because I just wanted to get here and I knew it was going to be like a 22-hour process. But flying from America to Dubai to Kuwait, I was in the American airport for a lot longer, and then I had the 6-hour layover in Dubai, but there was nobody there. Everybody was sleeping because it was early in the fucking morning. And then I was only in the Kuwait airport to walk out. Well, this time when I went out and I flew out of town, I was in the Kuwait airport for like 6 hours. No, was it? Let's see. I got dropped he took me at 11. Yeah, and then Ahmad hung out with me. Yeah, because when I wound up leaving, my flight was at 3:45 a.m. So obviously I couldn't be in the hotel until then. And Ahmad wound up taking me to the airport. We got there at 11. He hung out with me until about midnight. And at midnight, I actually went into a Caribou Coffee and went to sleep. I mean, there was a full house, but I just found one chair and I sat the fuck down and crashed. So I slept for 2 hours in Caribou Coffee. Then I went to get to the Emirates Gate and whatever. It was just a nightmare because I hate the hassle. Like I said, if I could just snap my fucking fingers and be home, I would. And I was very patient and understanding, but when people are underfoot and they've got children in strollers and they're speaking different languages and they're stopping and they're checking their phones and it's frustrating in America, but it's really frustrating there because you can't be understood. And also, I'm just trying to get the fuck out of there, man. Get out of my way. And I also don't want to be the ugly American who goes, get out of my way. But it doesn't matter because at the second elevator in Dubai, when people were walking off and this little dude tried to go by me, Mike showed up finally on this trip. And I put my hand out, I put it on his chest and I go, dude, wait. And again, I was a foot taller than this guy. I mean, I don't, there's no reason to do that, but I was just so frustrated that he was constantly on my heels, constantly underfoot, always at my elbow, trying to cut in front of me. Like I said, he was having this personal race. And when I'm out driving the fucking car in Uber, and I told you people will go neck and neck with you or cut you off at a stoplight just to get one car ahead of you, it drives me fucking crazy. Well, when a dude is doing it, and also, I should tell you this, I'm carrying like 40 pounds of luggage on my shoulder. And this cat's got nothing, and he can barely keep up with me because his tiny little legs are flailing. His little fucking wedding cake figure of a man is trying to cut in front of me, and finally I just put my hand on his chest. Dude, wait. And that went over great. In an elevator that was crowded with people. Like the people that were walking out immediately stopped because I had bass in my voice and I probably looked angry and I got my hair up and I got a fucking half a mohawk. And he froze. Like he just kind of looked at me and didn't move. Thankfully, understanding what dude wait meant. And after about 5 seconds of complete silence and people staring, the people then proceeded to get off the elevator, and the rest of the people went in and get on the elevator. Because these people, everybody around us was waiting to see what I was going to do. And I was waiting to see what he was going to do. All he did was just stand there and stare down at the floor, not moving. And then people got off the elevator, and then I got on. Because I'm a good guy. That's what I do, is I cause international incidents in airports because I'm worried that because you know what, if you're going to fucking hustle, I'll get no problem with that. If you're going to constantly hustle with me, obviously you've singled me out for some sort of retribution for being faster than you or bigger than you or whatever the fuck. I'm not into your game, man. I'm going to take you out right at the fucking knees. You're going to stay here in Dubai forever after I pound you into a goddamn puddle. Hi, I really wanted to get home. So, the point is, there's a ton of shovey people who come into this country. We talk a good game, but I mean, you're again overseas China people. Oh my God, the Chinese. Don't call them China people. That makes it sound like they're people made out of plates. The Chinese. There's so many of them on top of one another. They're just so used to kind of elbowing their way. I notice this in Chinatown all the time too. There's nobody moves or says excuse me. Everybody just kind of plows forward because they got somewhere to go. If you're in Beijing and you got to get to Shaolin, then I don't know, what are you going to do? Take 2 elevators and a train like I would? No, of course not. You're going to just put your head down and ram your way through the fucking crowds. So I get to the baggage claim and there's people shoving and pushing and just kind of, again, no concept at all of I was here first or courtesy. And I remember I told you I got fucking smacked in the other country for picking a guy's bag up and trying to help him. So I was keeping my hands to myself this particular time. Waited for my bag to come out. And then finally I look, there's this giant pile, not pile, they lined them up very nicely, and I see my bag. So I text Erica and I'm like, hey, got my bag on my way outside. She's like, great, almost, I'll see you soon. Now this isn't like Erica, because Erica usually is like, all right, I'm on my way, I'm in a park or I'm across the street, I'll wait. She's very specific because she is terrible at directions. So when I tell her where I'm going to be, she'll be like, what airline are you at? What curb? What color person is standing next to you so I can notify you? What sweater are they wearing? Not what color person. She's not that bad. See the perils of talking at the speed of your fucking head. What pants are the people wearing next to you? More like that. She's not like, hey, is there a black guy next to you? I'll pick you up. And especially at the international terminal, that's a bad question to ask. What color? Well, actually, bullshit. That's a good question to ask. Wait, what color's the dude next to you at the international terminal? Because it could be fucking anybody. Who knows? It could be an elbowy Muslim. It could be a Muslim. That's not a terror. Muslim. Jesus, I was just there. You'd think I'd remember how to fucking say it. I apologize. As you can tell, I'm very quiet and I'm in an awkward. I still haven't told you where the fuck I'm recording. Have I? I think I may have, or I haven't. So I get outside and I breathe American air, rarefied American air, with very few spices and no cologne. However, the international people love to smoke. Oh, so I text Erica. I'm like, hey, I'm outside. She said, I'm almost there. I said, great. I said, I may die of cancer before you get here because international travelers love to smoke. And I don't know if it's people all smoking before they go into the airport or the people that just arrived in America and went finally and started smoking. Because I will tell you this, smoking is banned in Kuwait. No cigarettes allowed, no smoking anywhere, or not, certainly not in public. But you can do fucking hookah stuff, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But yeah, there's no smoking in Kuwait. It's banned in the country. So then I guess when these Kuwaitis or Dubai people, they come to America, they're like, oh, I cannot wait. I'm going to get cancer immediately the second I show up. And they just start two-fisting cigarettes. So I walk outside and I'm in a fucking cloud of smoke. I text Erica, I'm waiting for her and I'm looking and she's like, all right, I'm almost there. And I'm standing and I'm waiting and I'm looking at my phone and I got my bag and I turn around and I'm just as surprised telling you about it now as I was when it happened. I was standing there waiting for Erica's Kia Soul or Del Sol or Kia, whatever the fuck, her red Kia to pull up, and instead I turned around, and standing directly in front of me was the lovely Jill, who had flown to Los Angeles to surprise me and pick me up at the airport. I speechless. I was just thrown. Did not know what to do at first because it was such a surprise to see her. And then of course I hugged her and I'm like, oh my God, and she's like, is it okay that I'm here? I go, yeah, of course. I didn't know. I mean, I had no idea. And so then it turns out that she and Erica had cooked this up days prior. And that's why Erica wrote me and goes, don't make any other plans. I'm definitely coming to get you, because she knew that Jill was definitely coming to get me and was going to park her going to get a rental car. And which is, I mean, I can't even imagine the logistics, because again, Jill still has a broken arm. She's got a thing, and I don't think I've ever gotten into that, but she's got a bionic brace on it, so she had to drive a rental car with this bad brace. She got into town early that morning, I guess, and Erica picked her up, and then Erica, they went to breakfast and hung out, and then she got the rental car, and then she came to pick me up. It was a shock. Like, I couldn't believe it. So the lovely Jill shows up to pick me up, astonishingly enough, because I hadn't seen her. Obviously, I've been gone for 2 weeks, and we hopped in the car, we head home. But I was shocked. I can't use that word enough. I was very, very surprised. So, but the thing is, like I said, I was getting off the plane on Sunday at I was gonna get home at like 3:30 in the afternoon, and then just crash because I didn't sleep very well on the plane. And I was still wound up, and I left Kuwait. It was 3:45 their time, and I get to town at 2 in the afternoon Sunday. But I went back in time, but forward, and my body was all fucking screwed up. And Jill and I was supposed to meet Jill in Denver on Tuesday morning. So I only had a day and a half to come to town and then kind of recover and do laundry and get my house a little bit in order, and was going to record this show on Monday. And then I got picked up, and I'm an idiot. I feel weird recording the show. I feel weird recording the show when people are around, unless it's obviously Lily or Dave or somebody like that. But because Jill was at my house, and she's like, I'll just go out to the pool while you're recording, and that's fine. But it's still weird. It's fucking weird. And also, I got to be honest with you, I was fucking gassed, man. I mean, I had done the show on Thursday or Friday the previous week, so now it was going to be Monday that I was going to do it, which was going to be a hard enough record anyway. But then I was having trouble keeping my eyes open. And I'm still sleeping in these microbursts where I fall asleep for 3 hours, and then I wake up and I'm wide awake for 3 hours, and then I'm tired, and it's weird. I guess international travel and jet lag is no joke. I've never had to experience it before, but it's. And I'm also old. It's just got me it's knocked my dick in the dirt a little bit here, but I'm trying to recover. But that's one of the reasons why we're late today, another reason. But then Jill, she's got this busted arm, and I don't have a bed at my house. I was going to buy a bed when Ahmad hired me to go over to Kuwait, but then real life interfered, and I wound up having to pay for some other things. I paid off a giant debt, and I sent some money here and there, and before you knew it, I could not get my bed. So I sleep in my chair still. But then when Jill comes over, it's fucking terrible because I don't have a bed for her to sleep, and I feel awful for her sleeping in the chair with me, but it's even worse now because she's got a fucking broken arm that's at like a 45-degree angle. And she's got like a giant arm brace on it that she has to keep on during the day. Normally she squishes into the chair with me, and it's fucking great, until it's not great for her and her back and her neck. But with the arm, there's no fucking way she could have done it. So we get to my house, and I start unpacking my suitcase, and I go, we can't stay here tonight. She said, what do you mean? We're leaving Tuesday. No, I go, honey, you can't sleep with your arm like that. You can't sleep in a chair. She goes, no, I can do it. I go, well, honey, in the chair you're right now. She goes, no, I won't sleep in the chair. I'll sleep on the floor. And, I got to keep my arm at this angle anyway. So, and I'm like, you're not going to sleep on the fucking floor? Jesus Christ. I'm 50 years old, and my girlfriend is sleeping on the floor at my fucking house. This is awful. It's like I'm every red flag you would find in Cosmopolitan magazine for the guy you should never date. The 50-year-old man who still has he had an airbed. That was the thing. I remember even reading a thing that made fun of guys with airbeds. I don't even have a fucking airbed anymore. I sleep in a fucking chair with my feet hanging off an ottoman. It's fucking ridiculous. And then your girl comes over and she's just like, oh, I'll totally sleep on the floor. I'm like, oh, and the worst part is I have no alternative. I can't be like, no, honey, it's okay. Why don't you sleep in this tilting office chair? Fucking terrible. Hey, how about if you sleep on this cocktail bench? Jesus Christ, what a fucking idiot. So I told her, I go, we're not staying here. We're going to get a hotel. We have to. So I was in my house for, I don't know, 4 hours? And we went on Priceline. We found a house in, for Sunday. Or I found a hotel for Sunday night, and I found a hotel for Monday night. And I said, we're doing this. I mean, I can't have you sleeping on the floor in my house. And she's very nice because she does not make me feel awkward or stupid for not having a goddamn bed. She's like, no, I can do this, absolutely. But then those people that are like, oh man, no, it's no problem, I can do this. And then they're like, oh Jesus, and you're like, oh man, that's even fucking worse. Because you said you'd make the effort, and you certainly are, and I appreciate it. But Jesus Christ, you're doing nothing but twisting yourself into fucking knots, and I can hear it. And now I feel even more fucking pathetic because I let you talk me and let you stay here. Fuck, we gotta go. So I wasn't even having that. I wasn't gonna let it fucking happen. We got the hotel. We got a hotel in Burbank for Sunday night, and then another hotel right by the airport on Monday night. So we returned to a rental car, and we hung out there, and we slept. And then we flew to Denver on Tuesday morning, and that's where I am now. I'm in a basement in Denver, as I can hear my friends just waking up upstairs and walking around and making coffee and doing dishes, and I'm sure they can hear me shouting in their fucking basement. I'm at Evil Dennis's house with his wife Kelly, and they've been very nice and gracious. And I'll tell you about the days that have gone on when I've been here. And I know I should probably get to Kuwait at some point, but I wind up in these inconvenient recording circumstances, and I don't feel I can do justice to the Kuwait shows. I want to talk about everything that happened and all the guys I met. I want to talk about an Ahmad. I want to talk about a Khalid. I want to talk about a Fahet. I want to talk about a Hamid. I want to talk about Abdullah. I want to talk about Blind Abdullah. I want to talk about Mohammed. And the great time we had and the places we went. And maybe I'll dig into that a little bit here today. I just feel like I'm not going to do it justice if I talk about it in a fucking basement in hushed tones, because I don't get to be me. As you can probably tell, this is a very even-keeled me. This is almost a very quiet, trying not to disturb people me, and that's not what this fucking show is. This show is me backing away from the microphone and giving a yell and fucking laughing. And but today, I find myself. And all right, maybe what I could do. Fuck. I could put this show up today, and then maybe I can contact Lily and see if she can hook me up on Friday, and we can do a show Friday, and then I can get another show up for you by the end of the week with Kuwait involved. Or because I could do the Kuwait show next week, because next week I'm definitely recording with Lily. And this is a lot of navel gazing and me talking in circles. I'd much rather do the show with her there, so she's laughing and enjoying it, and I can talk about what happened. And because if I wind up just recounting to you what happened in Kuwait and talking while I'm alone, I can tell it right. Last week was okay, but I feel like I'm not doing it justice. And I know you think I'm crazy, and I'm not a perfectionist artist, but at the same time, I care about what I do. But I guess I should just fucking tell a story, right? Am I climbing into my own brain again? What the fuck? Who knows? But I probably should go, because I even told the guys in Kuwait, I go, I'll talk about you guys next week. And now they're going to listen this week, and they go, what the fuck? You just said our names. Like, you didn't even talk about what the fuck we did. But maybe I'll get to it and talk a little bit more about it. I don't know. The bottom line is I'm in Denver now in a basement trying not to fucking disturb people, which is not the best way to provide comedy or any sort of entertainment. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and try to be as quiet as possible and bring you a show that's very, very somber and sullen. And I sound like the Quiet Storm now all of a sudden in podcasts. Hey, how you doing? Quiet Storm, coming up the OJs, and after that, the Spinners. One of a kind, love affair, yeah. By the way, I can't imagine that I'm trying to not disturb the people upstairs, and then me singing One of a Kind Love Affair very quietly didn't freak them out in some way. Because you got to hear me through a heat vent in his house, right? It's a giant house. Again, I'm in Evil Dennis's house, and it's fucking huge. I'm doing this recording in his home theater, which is in the southwest corner of the house in the basement. And because I asked him, I told him I needed to record, and I said I'd probably do it in the home theater. He said, great, but he's got to hear me through a heat vent, right? They got to hear me fucking shouting. They're just trying to live their lives. His wife's probably working. She's on the phone, taking care of business, taking calls and organizing new things because she's launching a company. And then these people are going to hear me shouting like a jackass, or even worse, hear me singing the fucking the one-of-a-kind love affair. We really think you should invest in our company. We have a lot of overseas contacts, and we think we're going to provide a service in a way that no one has ever provided it before. One-of-a-kind love affair, yeah. Who was that? Oh, that's our hold music. It lives downstairs. What the fuck? So we get to Denver on Tuesday, and actually we missed our first flight. We're supposed to fly at 6 a.m., and nope. I woke up at 5:40 because, again, my body is all fucking ruined. And there was no way we were going to pack and get our plane, so we changed our flight till later in the day, like 10:30. I think. And we arrived here in the afternoon, picked up by Dennis, stopped at the grocery store, and Dennis is like, just grab what you need. And of course, grab what you need is stupid to tell me because I grabbed like 4 bags of chips and fucking 12 yogurts and candy bars and all sorts of bullshit to stock his house up with. Stuff that will actually be here when I come back in a year. And then we bought stuff to make dinner. We're going to make salmon and steaks and just walking around shopping that thing and filling the cart. And me, him, and the lovely Jill then made it over to the house, and it's been an amazing few days. We had tickets for the Rockies game on Tuesday night, so his wife came, Kelly and Dennis, and then Jill and I. We went to Coors Field, and that, by the way, I'm in a leather chair. Did you just hear that? That's a leather chair, and I'm making sure you know that that's a leather chair. How terrible is that I have to make sure you guys didn't hear that and go, wait a minute, what was that in the background? It's a leather chair, I promise. Listen. All right, there you go. That's even better. What if I did that just for like 18 minutes? No, it's a leather chair, I promise. Hear that? It's a leather chair. Listen. I should move the microphone closer. All right, so you guys probably didn't even hear it. I just spent 9 minutes telling you that it was a fucking leather chair. How sad. I'm worried that you thought I farted on my own podcast. Like, that's how fucking upset I am because I'm all quiet and I heard that noise. Go back and listen. Like, go and see if you can hear it and go, hey, is that what I thought it was? Because that's what it sounded like that to me because I moved my arm and it made a noise. Fuck. And I want everybody going, boy, he's really relaxed on this podcast. He's bringing a quiet storm. He just fucking let loose. He just ripped one on his own fucking show. That's not me. I'm not that guy. You know, I'm not a fart guy. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's interesting. I don't know anybody out there who thinks it's interesting, by the way. I don't know if I'm making myself special by saying I don't think farts are interesting. I don't know anybody out there who does. Who's out there going, yeah, who hears one or thinks about it and goes, and strokes their chin deftly. Here's me stroking my chin. Can you hear my beard? We're having fun with noises on this show. So we went to Coors Field on Tuesday night, and we walked into the park, took a photo outside of the lovely Jill and I outside by the clock tower, get inside, and we take about 50 steps into the concourse, and then it just starts pouring rain, like a cloud burst. And Dennis is like, there's the last 10 minutes. So then after 10 minutes, he goes, they'll get it cleaned up soon. It's probably going to have like a half hour. And another 15 minutes goes by, and I go, dude, this isn't letting up. If anything, it's getting worse. And he goes, nah, come on, man, I'll make a bet with you. I go, all right, bet me. He goes, it'll be done in 22 minutes. I go, I'll take the over on that. He goes, I'll tell you what, and it was 6:49 when we made that bet. And he goes, all right, for the sake of symmetry, let's make it like 26 minutes for math. And I'm like, somehow I just lost 4 minutes in this transaction, but fine, let's go ahead. So instead we walked the concourse, we looked at cool stuff. And, the park's amazing. You know, all the parks we've been to are beautiful. They're really, in their own way, they're all special. One of the cool things the Rockies have is you walk in and their starting lineup, the photos of the guys are right at the entrance. So it'll say today's starting lineup and it says check your programs and stuff. And there was no real special food. I had like some fucking hot dog with a mint slaw on it and some jalapenos and a mustard. That was really good. But no real special food at Coors Field. Just a nice place. And I wanted to see crazy offense. So this fucking rain keeps pouring and pouring. 26 minutes goes by and Dennis fucking owes me because he lost. And we finally wait like an hour and 25 minutes. The game's supposed to start it was a 6:40 start, I think. Or it was a 6:10 start. No, 6:40. It was a 6:40 start. Finally, it's 7:30. It's 7:45. And then we find some seats in this in-house restaurant. And finally it gets to be like 8:35. And Dennis is like, you just want to get the fuck out of here? He goes, because you know what, if they have a rain check, because he also had tickets for Wednesday's game in the afternoon. He goes, so tomorrow if they schedule, I go, well, they're just going to schedule a doubleheader. He goes, well, if they do that, then we can just pick which game we're going to go to. If anything, we can go to the early game, and if that's a bust, we'll go to the late game, or we can just go to the late game, whatever you guys want to fucking do. Because Dennis is he's an amazing host. I mean, he just wants to make sure everything's cool and you're having a good time. So we we went home. We split. We left the game. Came home. We watched lightning from his deck because he's got the mountains in his backyard. So it provides a lot of weird weather, I guess he said. So there's like a flat top mountain and these other ranges, and it was just this fucking lightning show for like an hour and a half, which was really fun. So we sat out there and they had some wine and I had a fucking glass of water and we watched lightning and we came inside and watched some TV, and then I, of course, fell asleep on the couch because that's what I do. Because I sleep in microbursts. It was 10 to 10, and it was me, Jill, and Dennis. Kelly had gone up to bed already, and we're watching TV. And Dennis, Jill excuses herself. She's like, hey, I'm going to go, she wanted to go freshen up, like wash her face and stuff. So then it's me and Dennis. Then Dennis goes, all right, man, I'm going to crash. I said, okay, cool. He leaves. I'm on the couch. I close my eyes. I wake up an hour later. No Jill, no Dennis, nobody. I'm on the couch. So I come downstairs and Jill is in bed. And I was like, I didn't know you were going to bed. You didn't say goodnight or anything, hon. And I should tell you, I'm weird about that. I don't like being left on the couch. It's the dumbest fucking thing. I know it's the weirdest thing, but I have this abandonment thing where I wake up and I'm alone and I'm like, oh man, nobody cared enough about me to take me to bed or send me to bed. And not when I do it at my house. When I do it by myself, I'm alone and that's fine. But if when I'm at the lovely Jill's house or I'm at somebody else's house and they don't wake me or send me to, I just feel like terrible because I'm like, oh, I wake up and I'm alone and they didn't care, which is dumb. But it's ingrained inside me. So I came downstairs, and I was a little weird at first when I saw Jill was in bed, and she wakes up, and she goes, oh, honey, and she goes, oh, what's going on? And it turns out she had washed up, and then she laid in bed real quick, and she fell asleep downstairs. So when I fell asleep upstairs, she fell asleep downstairs. She was going to come back upstairs, but she wound up falling asleep on the bed. So I climbed in, and we just fucking slept. I mean, I was out. And I'm sleeping in Dennis's basement. There's no windows there's a window, but it's a window well, so it doesn't shine directly in. But we had the shade closed, so I would wake up and it was pitch fucking black. And I didn't know what time it was. My phone was charging across the room, and I forgot I was in Dennis's house. So I went to get out of the bed. I sleep on the left side of the bed with the lovely Jill on the right-hand side. So I went to go walk off, but it turns out, it doesn't turn out. I fucking knew it when I climbed into bed. But the left side of the bed is basically against the wall. There's only like a foot of space. So I do that thing in the dark where I fucking go to just climb out of bed and I double karate kick the fucking wall with both feet, like toes first, and I jam everything, like all 10 toes and my ankle and all my phalanges are fucking buzzing. It was brutal. And it just that loud noise, and it wakes Jill up and she goes, oh honey, the wall. And I go, yep, the wall. Luckily I didn't kick a fucking hole in it. And so then I scooch off at the end of the bed. And I opened the window well just to try to get a little bit of light in the house. Because I will tell you, that's dangerous. I do it in the hotel rooms. I told you where I'll close all the curtains and I sleep. And, you'll go to bed at like midnight and then you'll wake up and it's dark because the curtains are closed and you don't realize what time it is. And then you go, oh, wait a second. And you look at your clock and it's fucking 1 PM. You slept the fucking clock around. God damn it, I hate that. Nobody likes sleeping 12 hours unless they do. So I had fallen asleep on the couch. She fell asleep. We get up yesterday, Wednesday, and we were going to the early game. So Dennis and I got up. We made some eggs. We went to the fucking baseball game with Jill. No Kelly. Kelly was working. And it was beautiful. And first of all, he said, I got the firm's seats today because Dennis works for he works for Deloitte. But he doesn't anymore because he's actually retiring in October. He's 51. Yeah, things have gone well for Dennis. He's worked hard and made a life for himself, and I'm in his basement yelling. I'm in his home theater shouting into a microphone to you about me almost hitting a Muslim guy in the fucking airport because he cut in front of me in an elevator. I'll tell you that when I talk more about Kuwait. But, I'll just tell you now, Ahmad was describing the show to his friend Hamid. And because Hamid, I'll talk more about him later. But Hamid, when I met him, they kept talking about Hamid. They were like, there's this guy, he's our friend, he's got unbelievable game, like he'll get numbers from girls at stoplights. He's just this really charismatic guy. And they're like, oh yeah, when you meet him, Ahmed said he's the funniest guy I've ever known. He's the funniest guy in Kuwait. And then of course the best part is Ahmad is like, well, no, not you. And he goes, he's not funnier than you. I didn't mean it like that. And he tried to kind of like backtrack a little bit. And I'm like, well, dude, no, I understand. He goes, he's the funniest like civilian guy I know in Kuwait. It's not like he's the funniest person, but I mean, you know, other people. And it was nice of him to think he was trying to spare the feelings of the talent, but I knew what he meant. But when I met Hamed, he was, I don't like bringing these chunks up out of order. If I talk about, I'll tell you about him later. But the point is, Hamed was their Fonzie. There was no doubt. Hamed was absolutely the Fonzie of all the guys I met in Kuwait, because they were all these guys are like living at home and they live with their families and they're gentle souls and they're really nice guys. And you meet Hamed and he's running red lights and turning into oncoming traffic and just laughing about it. He reminded me of my friend Jim Harbin, who I grew up with. I mean, it was just that. And he reminded me of me, like when I was fucking 26. We just did dumb things and we thought it was hilarious. That's what he did. And he was the guy who would do stuff that all of his friends would laugh at and go, Jesus Christ, that's our Hamed. So, I didn't know how I spun off into him, but we went to the game. Oh, so Dennis has done very well as I'm shouting in a basement. I think that's what it was. So we go to the game and Dennis has got his firm's tickets and we are sitting behind the Dodgers dugout. And we're continuing to walk down, and I'm going to Jill. I go, follow Dennis. And she goes, where is he? I go, he's right there. And she goes to turn into an eye. I go, no, he's not in there. He's down there. We go down. We're in the front row behind the Dodgers dugout. Best seats I've ever had for a fucking baseball game. It reminded me of when Jill and I went to the Bear game and we were like in the second row from the field. We just walked and Jill kept looking back at me like, are you serious? Are you serious? These seats, are you serious? We go to sit down. And Dennis is like, yeah, man, we can maybe get a ball here from some of the Dodgers. We can get an autograph. I'm going to keep score. And you're close enough to where everything, and the game completely changes from there. You know, when we buy tickets to go to other stadiums, we're sitting up in the upper tank and you're observing the game. But down there, you're part of it. You know, you're very much in play. If a bat comes flying or a ball comes flying, and a bat did come flying into the stands about, I'd say about 35 feet from us, it hit some lady. It was beautiful. I mean, well, it wasn't good for her because she fucking got a bat right in the mug. But other than that, it was totally fun. But Dennis had to take a business call at one point, so Jill and I are sitting there by ourselves, and he had warned us. He's like, look, these seats are amazing. And the previous weekend, a bunch of my friends had come into town, and they had gone to the Cubs games here. And Dennis was telling me stories about the big guy. Some of the UN of Evil was here. Kenny and the big guy and Woj were here. And he said, we had a great time, but there's an usher in our section who's an unbelievable stickler for the rules. Like because you can't put anything on the dugout, and that makes sense. But like even if you lean forward or you do things or you cut across an aisle or you put he said that she would kind of nitpick them on everything. So he said her name was Sue. So he's like, all right, well, watch out for Sue. I'm sure she's going to get us today. I'm like, well, we're not going to do anything dumb. I mean, I know how to behave. And also they're the firm's seats. I didn't want to be a jagoff and have the firm's seats revoked because I showed up in town and fucking ruined everything. That would be terrible. So we sat behind the dugout. And Dennis went to take his business call, and I crossed my legs. Now I'm 6'2", and there's not a lot of space between the front row there. There's leg room certainly, but there's cup holders and shit. So I wanted to stretch my legs. So I crossed my leg over my knee, and Jill and I actually Jill wasn't there. Jill had gone up to get I think the hot dog. She went and got me that fucking minty ass hot dog, and that's what it's called, by the way. Andrew Zimmerman's minty ass hot dog. Ask for it by name. But she said she was going to use the restroom and whatever, and then she came back with the dog. But while she's gone, I cross my legs, and I'm watching the game, and a woman taps me on the shoulder. I look up, and it's an usher, and it's a woman, and she's old, and so in my head I just go, well, this has got to be Sue. But she must just be coming over to say hello, because obviously I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm just sitting here with my legs crossed watching the game. And she goes, sir, I'm sorry, you're going to have to keep your foot below the white line. And I said, excuse me? She goes, your foot, it's above the white line there. Now, there's a wall with the dugout attached to it, and it says, do not place objects on top of dugout, all right? But the thing is, the wall has a white line on top of it, but when I cross my legs, my foot is above the wall. Now, it's not touching the dugout. I haven't put my feet up. I'm not resting them on there. I don't have my fucking legs crossed. I mean, like legs crossed on top of the dugout. All I have is my leg crossed over my knee. But because I can't stretch out, my knee is tall, and so my leg is balanced, and my foot is, it's just, I'm not touching anything. I'm not doing anything. So I looked at her and I go, are you serious? She goes, yeah, you can't have your foot above the white line. So I go, all right. I put my foot down. She walks away. And there was a dude sitting next to me from Texas. He and I had struck up a conversation, and he just goes, "Is she serious?" And I go, "I guess she was, dude, because she pointed out and she bailed." So he says, "Why would she even? Where would she come from?" Like, and I didn't know, and I told him the story that Dennis had said she was kind of a stickler from before. So Jill comes down, she gives me the minty ass hot dog, and I say to her, I had a run-in with Sue. Because he had warned Jill too. And she goes, "What?" And I told her, I said, "Look, I crossed my legs and she told me to put my foot down." And and Jill's just like, "Well, honey, he told you that she was going to be like that." And Jill just doesn't want me to get mad, so she's trying to talk me down a little bit. And I wasn't mad, but it was that thing where if the more you think about something, the madder you get, because you're just like, wait, I didn't do anything. I mean, I'm just sitting here watching the game. I'm trying to enjoy it. And also, why the fuck are you coming over here and bullying guys who obviously have paid millions for their season tickets? I mean, I'm right behind the fucking dugout. It's not like some fucking hillbilly who just wandered in off the goddamn street barefoot and I put my feet up on the dugout. I just crossed my legs. And, if you went to management and you said, "Hey, I got news for you. This Sue person came and told me that I couldn't cross my legs in the fucking ballpark," they'd probably put her in another place, or they'd boot her entirely. And look, I don't want to cost this woman her job. All of a sudden, there's another homeless old person because I couldn't cross my legs. I don't want to fucking have that happen. But at the same time, use some discretion. I mean, you can see I'm not drunk. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing anything silly. I crossed my legs and you tell me to put my foot down? What the fuck? But I did. Because I don't want to cause any trouble and I don't want to cause any waves, and I'm here as a guest of somebody else and I need to learn to shut up. So Dennis comes back from his business call and we're hanging out. And then he goes up to get a beer. And I was telling Jill about Sue, and I go, "It's ridiculous." I go, all I did was cross my leg. And she's like, "Honey, it's okay. It's just she's a stickler." And I crossed my legs, and I go, "This is all I did." And I'm talking to her. And the game is going on, and I'm keeping score for Dennis, because when he walked away, he asked me to keep score. And someone reaches between me and Jill and taps me on the shoulder, and I look up, and it's Sue. And she goes, "Sir," and she finger wags me, like fucking Matumbo style. She gives me the finger wag right in my face. She goes, "Sir, remember the foot." And I go, "Excuse me?" And she goes, "Remember the foot, the white line. You have to," and I immediately, I just go, "Hey," and Jill just kind of grabs me, and so I recognize that I shouldn't say anything, again, because I'm a guest and I'm a friend and I'm here on somebody else's good humor, and I don't want there to be a fucking problem. And she walks away, and I look at Jill and I go, "That's fucking outrageous." And Jill says, "Honey, she's wrong, but there's nothing you can do about it." And it's just relaxed. I go, "No, there's something I can absolutely do about it." Like I said, I want to go to management. I want to call the fucking owner of the Rockies. I want to call the governor of Colorado, somebody to get me justice, man. Because that's like telling me, "Hey, if I," and so then, of course, stupid me, I'm like, it's like if I had crutches and she said, "Oh yeah, you can't bring your crutches into the ballpark." And Jill's like, "No, it's not like that at all, really. You're just crossing your fucking legs." And everybody's trying to talk me the fuck down, and I get that, but at the same time, I haven't done anything wrong. That's what drives me fucking crazy. If I'm doing shit wrong, I understand when somebody tries to come after me. But if I'm not doing something wrong and somebody comes over and they're like, "Hey dude, you can't cross your legs." What the fuck? What country am I in? I just left Kuwait, which I heard was going to be oppressive and you're going to cut your hands off and all sorts of bullshit. Then I come to America and I can't cross my fucking legs? God damn it, Sue. You know what you should be? You should be a fucking elevator monitor at the Dubai airport, making sure people don't cut in front of other people. Then you're on fucking board. Then I'm backing up a Sue. But if Sue's going to sit there and tell me that I can't cross my legs, fuck that. So then Dennis comes back and I go, "Hey, dude, we had a run-in with Sue," and Jill's laughing and she's telling him what happened, and Dennis goes, "Well, that's one for the books. That's a new one." And he's laughing and Jill's laughing, and I wanted to laugh, but I was fucking furious. And I know it's stupid, and I get myself worked up over nothing and dumb things, and I worry, and I don't know why, but because I got a problem with authority, and I don't want you telling me what the fuck to do, and I'm 49 years old, and you're telling me I can't cross my legs in a fucking ballpark. I don't know who the fuck you think you are, Sue. I know who you think you are. You think you're the goddamn fucking Gestapo of this ballpark, and you're telling me I can't fucking put my leg up. You know what? You're going to take my fucking leg and throw it on a train to Auschwitz. That's what you're doing. All I'm trying to do is cross my legs, and you're just suppressing me. You're telling it was leg knocked. That's what it was. It was the night of the legs when she told me it was the foot knocked. Remember the foot. She's like, "No, man, you can't fucking put your leg up there. Remember the foot, sir. Wag, fucking Matumbo, finger wag." Oh, I'm pissed. I'm mad for no reason. Just like I was at the ballpark yesterday. And, Jill and Dennis laughed it off, and they tried to calm me down. And I didn't steam or fume, but the more I thought about it, when I would just go, "Hey, dude, I'm just crossing my legs. Like, I haven't done anything wrong here." Then part of me wanted to go, "You know what? I'm going to earn this." I wanted to just jump up on the dugout and sprint out of the fucking field and just yell, "Sue, hey, up on my feet now. Are they above the white line?" "No, they're not. They're on the fucking field. Take that." That's loud. People are sleeping. Again, I'm in a basement. So we hang out and we watch the game. Amazing seats. Rockies wind up thumbing the Dodgers 7-0. Probably thumped them. They didn't thumb them, or unless they thumbed them in the eye with 7 runs. But we earned tacos from Taco Bell. It was a fun time. We had great seats, and we were in the sun. We had a good time. And then, we're in Denver. So Jill and I had been talking to Dennis about the fact that, weed is legal here and all that stuff. So we wanted to see a dispensary. We had talked about it. And we told Dennis, and he's like, well, there's some cool places over here, but it's really nothing. And I tell you what, I've seen dispensaries in L.A. I've delivered food there. When I was the fucking barbecue dude, when I was fucking Travis Barbecue, I would deliver to the places in Venice. And, you had to go through an armed guard at the gate. And then you'd get into the actual dispensary, and there's an armed guard in there. So it was a little intimidating. That's got a totally harsher buzz if you walk in and there's a couple of guys with guns staring at you while you're trying to pick out your sativa. I got to imagine your sticky purple salvia by year 4. So we had talked about seeing a dispensary because it was interesting to me. Like I said, I've seen them there and you can buy them with a weed card, but just the fact that anybody could walk in Denver was kind of fascinating to Jill and I. So we wanted to see how they operated. So we wound up going to a dispensary right by the park. Dennis said there was a cool one there, and we pull up. It's called Den Rec, which means Denver Recreation. But I was like, Den, you're only here because they like you. Guys, got your fucking name in it. That's why you think it's cool. We walked in. They carded us, which was interesting because we're all old. And then it's very Willy Wonka because you walk into this drab fucking waiting room, and there's almost like a velvet rope, and then of course there's their version of an Oompa Loompa, which is a 22-year-old tatted up fucking woman who's got a cute little face, and she's got a nice personality, and she's like, all right, everybody, we need to see your IDs. So I had Jill's ID. I showed them, both of us, and Dennis had his ID, and she's like, all right, enter. And like I said, it was just like Willy Wonka, where you're in that little room that gets smaller and smaller, and he's got to play the fucking code on the weird keyboard, but she's got her tattoos, and she leans back, she goes, enter, and she opens the door, and it's this, it wasn't any bigger than the waiting room, but still, the waiting room had nothing but pamphlets. You walk in here, and it's just test tubes full of weed, and all with stupid names, like Mango Crush, and what was it? There was, Snoop Dogg Wilson, or there was Wonder Dog. There was the old ballpark. Like, they had all these different names, which was interesting to me. And it would have a sativa level, and it told you what they all were. So then they had a freezer that was full of edibles, or a fridge. They had chocolate bars, which, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm totally on board with that. But, again, Jill and I we just wanted to see all of the selection of stuff that they had. So Dennis goes, yeah, anybody can just buy stuff here. It's weird. And he's explaining the laws and explaining the rules, and you can't just smoke, because I guess people out of towners will buy stuff and then they go outside and they just light up. And it's like, no, you can't fucking smoke it outside. You can buy it and go smoke it at your house, but you can't be out on the street getting fucking blasted. Well, I guess you're not really getting blasted on dope. But Jill and I are just there to look around, and we're smelling it because they hand it to you. You can open it up and smell the fucking, like I said, there was the strongest one they had, at least for sativa level, at 24% sativa level. Now, please bear in mind, I don't have a fucking clue what any of that means. But at 24% sativa level, it was the biggest number. Everything else was like 17, 18, 16 or less. So we smelled it, and it's all, I should say this, when we walked into, right when we opened the door, you're just punched in the face by skunk weed. Just this like dank fucking smell, and you're like, oh boy. All right, here we go. It's like walking into a cupcake house, and you're like, oh, they're baking the new cupcakes. You walk into this joint, and you're just like, oh, Pablo Escobar just farted. I mean, it's fucking amazing. So, got a lot of fart talk on this podcast. Not a fan. The basement brings it out of me. So we're looking around at stuff, and we don't realize, Dennis is like, he starts talking. My friend, Evil Dennis, will talk to anybody, literally anybody. He talked to the guys at the ballpark. He wound up being friends with them. He talks to the ushers. He talks to everybody you will meet. And I know you think that I do that. My mom thinks I do that. Jill thinks I talk to everybody. And then you get around Dennis, and you're like, no, this guy fucking talks to everybody. Like in his neighborhood, we were driving. All the little kids love him. Like even Kelly said, all the kids in the neighborhood love Dennis because he jokes with them. And they have a trampoline in the backyard, and the kids come by and they visit. And there's block parties, and Dennis is always fucking out there and playing baseball and stickball and checkers and whatever the fuck. Because Dennis has his son and daughter, whose names I will not say because you may kidnap them and hold them for ransom. But Den he's the best guy.
And I'll tell you something that kind of threw me a little bit last night talking, but well, I think I mentioned it earlier. He asked me why he was Evil Dennis at dinner last night, and I thought of all people he would get it and he would be on board with it and be cool with being Evil Dennis and understanding why. But he asked me last night. He goes, "Hey, I have a question." He goes, "Why am I Evil Dennis?" And I said, "Well, because you're a jagoff." And I thought that would be a funny answer and it would make sense. But he flinched. He just kind of went, and he goes, "Okay." He goes, "Yeah, I'm a good guy. I'm like really nice to everybody." And all of a sudden for 10, and he goes, "For 10 years, I've been Evil Dennis." I go, "Well, no, for 35 years, you've been Evil Dennis, Dennis." I go, "But now in public, I have a show. So for the last 10 years, people now know you as Evil Dennis." I go, "But for 35 years, I've always known you as Evil Dennis." And he goes, "Okay, great, whatever." And I could see he laughed it off and he played it off, but it kind of, I think it hurt him a little bit. Like it hurt his feelings. And I felt fucking terrible, of course. Because on this show, everything gets played up and amped up. He's not evil. He's the best guy I've ever known. I mean, every time I have any sort of terrible situation, he bails me the fuck out. I always talked about it on It's a Wonderful Life. If I'm Jimmy Stewart, he's Sam Wainwright. You know what I mean? He's the guy who sends a telegram and goes, "Hey, what do you need? You got it. Whatever you fucking need." And so now the fact that I called him Evil Dennis and then he flinched about it, I was just kind of like, dude, I feel awful. So, hopefully I'll talk to him about it today and see if he's really, because I mean, I don't know, he might have been kidding, but he might not have been, but it got a reaction, like almost a visceral reaction I could see out of him when he asked me. So we're in this fucking weed depository and he winds up talking to the girl. He immediately goes up and he's like, "All right, what do you got?" And there was like some lemon purple haze and all these different fucking names. So he's smelling stuff. He's having us smell it. He's giving us the tour and he's telling us what's going on. And they said they had edibles. And he goes, "All right, what do you got?" And she goes, "They got this stuff called LA Confidential." That was the one, the 24% sativa. He goes, "All right." Well, he gets out his wallet and he starts buying dope. Dennis, I mean, because he even said, he's like, "Dude," he goes, "you can buy anything you want." He goes, "You can buy one joint at this place." So then he gets out his wallet and Jill looks at me and I look at her and she goes, "Is he really buying something?" I go, "I don't know. I mean, I think so." And he goes up to the counter and sure enough, he bought a joint of LA Confidential. And he goes, "All right, yeah." He goes, "You guys wanted to do this." And all of a sudden he puts the ball in our court. And it's not like, "Hey, look, well, we didn't want to do this. We wanted to go look at the place, but we weren't thinking about getting fucking high." I mean, Jill and I last time I got high was in fucking Glenn Pfeiffer's house with Rick Shaver and Glenn, and then we told Glenn how hot his mom was, and he didn't care for that, quite frankly, even though he was high. And that was the only time, by the way, that dope ever worked on me. I've smoked dope 3 times in my life. That was the only time I actually got high. And it's because I had a couple of beers too, so the whole fucking thing conspired to take me down at the age of 15. And we told Glenn Pfeiffer his mom was hot, and that did not work out well. So ever since then, I went, you know what, I'm just going to eat stuff, because if I say dumb stuff, then I can blame it on the casserole. So then he buys a lid. Is that what you kids call it today? I felt so woefully out of touch. My mom smoked dope for 80 years and she's got the box and I know what shake is and I know what all skunk weed and Thai sticks. I know all that bullshit. But now, when you got sativa named LA Confidential, it's out of my fucking league. I didn't realize that dope had to have an alias. I just knew it was fucking dope. But it's different strengths and different sativa levels. I don't fucking know, dude. I got no idea. All I know is Dennis bought a joint and we walked the fuck out of there. So Jill and I just keep looking at each other like, I can't believe that just happened. Like we just bought dope and fine. So we go home and we cook out. We make some steaks. And Dennis and I cooked. I made Brussels sprouts. He had a recipe. And dude, let me throw this out. Here's why he's Evil Dennis. All right, you want to fucking say why he's Evil Dennis? Because he had a fucking Brussels sprout recipe that looked really good. It was Brussels sprouts, bacon, lemon, and balsamic. And you make bacon first, you crisp that up, and then you throw the Brussels sprouts in there and you cook them, and then you throw the bacon and you toss it all together with the lemon and the balsamic. It's fucking amazing. Here's why he's Evil Dennis. He brings that out. I go, "Dude, this fucking recipe looks great." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "It calls for 2 pounds of Brussels sprouts, which serve 6. He goes, "But there's no way we'll eat all those. But we're going to make them. We're not going to cut the recipe in half." I go, "Great, I'm in." I go, "And dude," I go, "the fucking bacon's going to be amazing." He goes, "Oh, here's the bad news. I don't have any bacon." What? He goes, "Yeah, we're just going to make it without bacon. We're going to make the recipe without." So now it's Brussels sprouts with balsamic and lemon, which certainly has its appeal, but I mean, fucking bacon. Like I told Jill, like she looked at the recipe and she goes, "This sounds really good." I go, "Yeah, I got bad news. There's no bacon." She goes, "No bacon?" I go, "No." She goes, you have to have bacon, especially if there's Brussels sprouts. You should have bacon. I go, dude, there should be bacon in all this. You should wrap our steak in bacon. You should wrap our mushrooms and onions in bacon. I go, fuck, wrap that joint in bacon later on. We'll smoke that up. I don't care. I'll have that fucking lit. I don't care. You got to add bacon to everything. So we cook dinner. We make the Brussels sprouts, which turned out fantastic anyway, even though the lack of bacon was in my mind. I ate them and I was like, fuck, these are amazing. And then we had steak and onions and mushrooms, and Jill and I split a potato, and we sat outside on the fucking porch in the most amazing weather. And, it's like 74 degrees with a breeze, and it was just fantastic. You know what it felt? It felt grown up. I don't get to feel grown up enough. Dennis is crazy grown up. Kelly's working at her fucking computer and her desk all day, and we walk in and they've got their planners and they're organizing. Dennis has got a party here for over 150 people in a couple of weeks. So he's organizing that. He's about to go on his fucking month-long bike ride through Italy and France, and he's got that all squared away. And he and I were talking about Airbnb. I was telling him how bad Airbnb was, and he's like, no. And he goes, well, tell me about your experiences. So I told him what I told you guys about the Vegas guy. And I don't know if I ever got into detail about the guy in New York, where he looked, we walked into his house, the guy who makes his own kombucha tea. Did I do this? Fuck, I'm losing track. And I have no producer to look at and go, did I talk about this? But if I did, I apologize. But I'll just tell you, there was a guy, we stayed at his house. It was in Harlem. And we went to his Airbnb. And it wound up, he was, all right, again, I'm going to retell this. If I told it before, bear with me, because I'm old and I forget things now. And I don't have a fucking producer to go, nope, you talked about that. So when Jill and I stayed in New York, I called, I booked an Airbnb, and it was in Harlem, and I didn't mind. I don't care. We just wanted to get, to walk to the trains and stuff. I swear to God, I told this. I told the story about the fucking going to the game. Whatever. I'll thumbnail it real fast. Get out of your own fucking brain, idiot. So we told the guy we were getting into LaGuardia at 2:30, so I'd probably be at his place by 4. He goes, well, you know what? Flights into LaGuardia are notoriously late. You'll probably be at my place at like 4:30. I said, great. We arrived at LaGuardia at 2:15. We're actually 20 minutes early. So I get in the Uber, Jill and I text him and I go, hey, we're in the Uber on the way to your place. And he texts me back and he goes, oh, I thought you weren't getting into town until 4:30. I thought your flight was going to be late. And I go, no, you told me my flight was going to be late. Right now we got in 20 minutes early and we're in the car heading over to your place. And he texts me back. He's like, well, I'm not home. I'm at work. I'll go ahead and try to duck out of here right now and get to my place. He goes, but you're probably going to beat me there. And I'm like, motherfucker, I told you that I was going to get there by 4. Now I'm going to be there a little early, which is on me, but it doesn't fucking matter. If I told you my flight lands at 2:30, you're the one who said, oh, no, you won't even get into town until 4:30, whatever the fuck. That's your problem. But get to your fucking house. Instead, he says, hey, man, you guys are probably going to beat me there, so go ahead and just wait outside. So we get to Harlem, and, Jill and I got our suitcases. We don't look like too much of rubes sitting out there with our suitcases, duh. And guys walking by staring at us. And we beat him there by a good 40 minutes. About 45 minutes later, he walks up to us, he brings us in, and he goes, oh, by the way, I had a tenant here this morning, and I didn't get a chance to clean the room because I thought you guys would be getting in later. So, you fucking dick. So we go in, and we like the space. I mean, it's a neat little apartment, but we walk in, and in the living room, which is a shambles, there's fucking toys and stuff all over the ground. He has a daughter that he only has certain days of the week, but the house is a fucking mess. And on the wall, there's a huge... woman's, I don't want to say her torso. It was her whole body. It wasn't her head, but it was a full body naked poster. And it was beautiful. It was a woman with tattoos and fucking, shaved and gorgeous and naked. And it was on his living room wall. And I was like, all right, man, when did she stay here? And then he's got all these self-portraits of himself on the fucking wall. Whatever. He was a decent guy, but it was like we were running late. He was running fucking late. We get in, we go to the game. He's like, I'll make the bed and I'll clean the room while you're going at the game. We come back and the room's acceptable. It's a king-size bed and it's a real fucking bed, not like the guy in Vegas with the air mattress. And he's like, oh, in the bathroom you got towels. Well, there's fucking same deal. There's like dirty towels hanging up right next to our towels. It's just like, dude, what the fuck? Make an effort. Make a fucking effort. So we go to the game, we come back, we sleep. Next day we go all out with our friend Steven, who I didn't get, you know what, I didn't get to talk about this. Our listener Steven Popkin met me in Chinatown and took me all over the place. He took us on an adventure. We wound up going to Canner's and we ate Chinese food at Wo Hop. I must have talked about this. Fuck, I'm lost. regardless, we had fun. And then we got back to the room, and he walked in just about 5 minutes after us, and we were getting ready to go to the game for that night. And he comes in, he goes, "Oh, hey guys, what are you doing? Are you going to the game?" We go, "Yeah, we're leaving here in about a half hour." He goes, "Great." He goes, "Well, you know what? I won't be here tonight. So if you come up, that's fine." And now you've got to imagine this. He's in front of us, and I'm talking to him. I'm looking right at him. He's talking to me, and Jill is on my left, facing him. And so he's looking at me and he's talking. He goes, "Okay, great. Well, I'm not going to be here tonight. So when you guys get here, it's not a problem. And if you leave in the morning, just go ahead and leave the key behind because I'm probably not going to be able to see you. But thank you. It was great having you stay here. But you got the run of the place tonight. You know, you got the kitchen. You can go and have the tea." And then he turns his head and he looks directly at Jill. All that other stuff was to me. He looks at Jill and he goes, "You can walk around naked all you want. It's not going to be a problem because I'm not going to be here." And I tried to play it off and just go again, like, you know, I had walked naked already. And he laughed, ha ha ha, and then he walked away. And we go in the bedroom, and Jill just goes, "There's cameras here." I go, "Oh yeah, there's absolutely cameras here." Because he looked right at her. I mean, it wasn't even. And I told Dennis about it, and he goes, "Oh, he was probably just being funny." I go, "Yeah, it's inappropriate. I don't give a fuck how funny you are. Okay, I know you 9 seconds, and you're making that fucking crack, please." So I tell Dennis all that, and he goes, "So you actually rented rooms?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, well, the Airbnb, we've done it like 10 times. But when they do it, you know, it's him and Kelly and their kids. They rent a house, you know, or a condo. They get the whole fucking joint to themselves." So he's like, "Yeah, so we've never had a problem." I go, "Of course you haven't had a problem. You haven't got some guy telling your girlfriend to get naked because he's not there." So he's like, "Airbnb works." I'm like, "Oh, so wait a minute. So you're telling me that if you spend a lot more money, you'll get a lot better return of service? That's shocking to me. That doesn't make any sense. You'll have a lot better quality of life and entertainment, and your stay will improve if you spend as much money as you possibly can. That's a great idea." And that's our fault because Jill and I, we didn't know anything about Airbnb, so we just fucking went ahead and tried to finagle and do the best we could and save a little money. So maybe we'll give it another day in court if we wind up staying somewhere. I don't know. But if we do, we'll rent our own fucking joint. But yeah, because it's someplace with towels and nobody leering at my girl. So we came back last night and we're cooking. We make the fucking chow and we sit outside on the deck and we had a good time. And then Dennis goes in the house and he comes out with the fucking dope. He goes in and grabs some LA Confidential, ladies and gentlemen. And I looked at Jill and I go, "I'm not doing this." And she goes, "You have to do this. We have to do everything. That's the rule." And I'm like, "All right." And, you know, Jill hasn't smoked dope since graduation night. She said in 1986, when she graduated from high school, that was the last time she did it. And like I said, I was at Pfeiffer's house. And same thing with Dennis. He doesn't do it. He just did it and he bought it as a goof because we were all there. And he didn't have matches. He got the, you know, the thing that you light your grill with that, like it's like a gun. It's a long thing. So he gets that. He pulls this joint out. Now I'm remembering the joints my mom would roll when I was a kid. And they were pretty, you know, my mom was good at it. I watched her do it. She had a rolling machine for a while, but then she just did it herself, you know, and I could see her twisting them up. And, you know, they were just normal size. They were just almost the size of cigarettes, maybe a little bit less. So Dennis reaches into the bag and he pulls out what can only be described as a turkey leg full of dope. I don't know what he paid or what they do. Marijuana has changed in the ensuing years from when I saw my mom doing it in front of me all the time. You know, she kept it in a little cigar box and she'd roll up these little mini joints. And, you know, we'd find roaches around the house that were really small. He busts this thing out. It's got like a mouthpiece on the end of it. And it looks like a police baton. I mean, it is huge. And it's fat at the end and then it tapers off. And it's ridiculous. It looked like, you know, you ever see those inflatable boxing things that you can punch and it just jumps back up right at you? Yeah, that's what it looked like. It was fat on the bottom and then skinny at the top. So it looked like you get a couple of fucking shots. So he pulls it out and he gets that thing from the grill with the light and he lights it up and he smokes it and he gives it right to Jill. And I thought there'd be hesitation and I thought she'd kind of be like, "Nah," but she literally grabbed it and she hit it. She absolutely hit it. And I was like, "All right, well, dude, this is on you now." And I should tell you this. When I went to Kuwait, one of the days that we spent out that I'll tell you about later, but it was me and Ahmad, and we went and picked up his friend Yasser. And Ahmad, even in the planning of me coming to town, he said he had a bunch of things that he wanted to do.
And then all of a sudden, he seemed to kind of lose them all when I got there. Like he seemed to be scrambling a little bit for where we were going to go and what we were going to do. So we got Yasser, and one of the cool things about Yasser, he's like, hey, let's go here. Hey, let's go here. Let's look at this. Let's do this. Because I had said I wanted to see a soccer game, and it turned out that the national team was off. You know, I wanted to ride a camel, you know, so we went looking for that. But Ahmad and Yasser, so he's like, well, let's go to a club and watch the soccer game because it's just as fun. Like people are cheering, and we'll go there. I said, great. So we went to a shisha house, which when we got there, I found out is a hookah house. And, you know, we have these in America, and it's all over the place now, but I've never done it. And I just don't do that sort of thing. But I said, fuck it. I'm here. We're doing it. Just like Jill said to me here. She's like, you got to do it. Well, guess what? When I was in Kuwait, I said, I'm fucking doing everything. So we go to the shisha house. And Yasser says to me, he goes, hey, do you want mint? And I said, well, actually, I like fruit. They got any fruit stuff? And he asks the guy, and it turns out they have green apple. So they go to load up the shisha with green apple. And I should tell you this too, by the way. We're sitting outside. You know, it's 105 degrees. And soccer's on the television. So they bring us Pepsis because Pepsi seems to rule that country. And they start loading up the hookah, and you got to put like charcoal in it, and then wood, and then the tobacco goes in the bottom. I couldn't tell. They were setting shit on fire, and I had to put it in my mouth. So this place was filthy, and it's just because at Kuwait, a lot of it had that thin sheen of dirt because it's outdoors, and also this was just a joint because it was an outdoor courtyard, so you're right on in traffic. So there's fucking car fumes and dust, and there's sand everywhere because it's the fucking desert. But and then there's dudes with their feet up, with their bare feet out. You know, we got their sandals off. And there was one dude. So we started outside. So they loaded the shisha up with the green apple, and they give you each your own individual mouthpiece. You use the same tube, but you have to change it to your mouthpiece when it's your turn to suck. So I throw it on there, and I put it in my mouth. And I don't know what to do, but I go, if I'm doing this, I'm fucking doing it. So I take a pull off this hookah fucking tube or octopus tentacle, whatever the fuck. And I'm like, and I inhaled, and look, I have a pretty good lung capacity. I inhaled for about 10 seconds. And I'm just, and I pulled it into my lungs. And I was doing it partially because I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. But also I wanted a photo op. So I actually videotaped it, and the first time I did it, I videotaped it, and I think I coughed and I made a face, but that was the videotape. But then after that, I got the hang of it, and I just took photos, and I blew smoke out my nose. So the first pull I coughed, but then the second pull I pulled in like 10 seconds, held it, and coughed it out. And he's like, no, you just do this, you do these little ones because I guess it's like sipping soda. You're just trying to enjoy the flavor. But I was like, fuck that, man. I'm gonna gas myself the fuck out. So I kept sucking in these huge lungfuls. I did it 3 different times. And after the third one, I got the spins. Like I went crazy lightheaded, and I was like, whoa. And it was supposed to be green apple, and it tasted like fucking black licorice. I mean, that's all it tasted like to me. But I was kind of wobbly. And then Ahmad is like, dude, this is like 10 times more potent than a cigar. Like what? And you're inhaling it. Like you got to be careful here. But fuck careful. You know what I mean? I'm in another country. I'm smoking bullshit. I'm like, let's do this, man. I want to be Midnight Express. I want to have so much hookah residue in my lungs that the dogs sniff me out at the airport, and I got to put my hands up and get thrown in jail and bite some Turkish guy's tongue out when he tries to rape me. That's what I want. So I'm pulling it, and I'm knocking it back, and I do 3 major pulls, and then I take photos of me blowing out my nose, and then I get the spins, and I have to sit back, and I actually got kind of sick. Like not just in my head was spinning, but also my head was kind of like, oh, dude, my stomach. I was like, ugh. And we were outside in the heat, and that wasn't helping. So then Yasser's like, can we go inside? I said, yes, please. Oh my God, yes. So we walked in, and we watched Chelsea play Burnley, which was a great game. We actually came in at halftime of that game. I was watching Tottenham outside because, God, I love the Spurs. Dude, I don't know shit about the Premier League, but I made myself choose a favorite team. I chose the Tottenham Hotspurs for no good reason. But then we went inside, and I was like watching Burnley. I'm like, I think I kind of like Burnley now, but I don't. I like Tottenham. So, and all you Premier League people are going to write me and go, Tottenham is terrible. I don't know why the Beatles would be upset with my choice of a soccer team, but they are. Wrong choice. So, or that's Neil from the Young Ones, perhaps. Tottenham. I don't like to be oppressed by Tottenham in the world I live in. So, I'm still in a basement, by the way. I wind up doing the shisha inside, and we sit down and we get more drinks, and we're watching the soccer game and there's a guy sitting next to me, and he's playing like Angry Birds or Crazy Candy Crush, whatever the fuck, on his phone. So
when I was doing the hookah thing, I was, we were passing it around. You had to change your mouthpiece and you hold the tube and you take the pull and you give it to somebody else. Well, this dude's by himself. So he's doing Shisa solo Shisa. And he's got the tube in his mouth and he's playing his game with both hands. He's got his bare feet up on the fucking bench. And he's just, I don't think he ever breathed actual air. He was a Shisa creature. And he just kept he's like, because you just heard the bubbling the whole fucking time and him hitting it. And he would breathe it in and breathe it out through his nose, breathe it in and breathe it out through his nose. So he was inhaling the whole fucking time. And I don't know if that guy was just getting himself pounded or trying to die via Shisa or just he was trying to get apple lung. I don't know what the fuck was happening, but he was hardcore. He's playing with two hands on the phone. The Shisa stuck in his mouth and his bare feet up. I'm like, that's Kuwait. I actually wanted to take a picture. I told him I want to take a photo of that dude. That guy is Kuwait. Just not giving a fuck at all, just burying himself in Shisa and playing a fucking video game like America and then putting his bare feet up on the goddamn thing in his chic clothes. So when I hit the hookah in Kuwait, I got really lightheaded and I got the spins and I got a little sick. So I didn't know what was going to happen with this fucking joint. So Jill hits it and then she passes it to me. And again, I don't know how to do this. I even said it too. And I felt so, this will sound terrible, dragnet and whatever the fuck. I felt square. Like I felt like an idiot because I go, look, how do I do this? Am I doing it right? If you have to ask if you're smoking a joint right, you don't belong anywhere near a joint. I'm surprised the cops didn't kick in the door just to throw me out of Denver for being uncool. But I did it. I took a long pull on it and I inhaled it into my lungs and I held it there and I didn't cough. Jill was coughing, Dennis was coughing. I mean, they were coughing a lot. And I held it in my lungs, and then I looked at Jill, and I just out my nose. And she goes, ugh. She goes, you know what? It's got to be about the show with you. She goes, you're not even trying to enjoy it. I go, no, I totally am. I go, I'm trying to figure out how to do it. She goes, no, you just wanted to do the thing out of your nose like a goofy dragon. I go, oh, come on. And she goes, it's always about the show with you. So then I passed it to Dennis, and he hit more, and then she hit more. And then I got it back, and I took a really long pull, and they're coughing, and I inhaled it, and I should tell you, it was strange. Like it tasted like coffee at the end, it was funny. We all noticed that, and I held it in my lungs, and I held it a long time, and I didn't cough, and then this time I exhaled out my mouth, and and he's like, put that out. So I tapped it out. We only smoked about half of it, and I handed it back to him, and I'm sitting there, and then we're just waiting for it to take effect, I guess. What I said. I'm old, so this is an old reference. Young people have no idea what I mean, but it was like the scene in Animal House where Donald Sutherland decides to get fucking Boone and Katie high. Like, it's Peter Riegert and Karen Allen, and they're with Donald Sutherland. He's like, he pulls out the dope and he makes this really fucking scary smiley face. That's who Dennis was. Dennis was Donald Sutherland, and Jill and I were Boone and Katie, and we were just going to get fucking high in his house. So he taps the joint out, and then, Kelly had told us this story, I guess in Amsterdam they had smoked once, and Kelly, it didn't do anything for her because she didn't inhale it, but fucking Dennis did, and then I guess he got paranoid and somebody else fell asleep. So when Kelly's like, yeah, it was a great night. So I imagine when we brought out a joint last night, she's like, these three old people are going to get fucking smoked out, and I'm going to be fucking bored out of my skull. But we were sitting there, and I was waiting for it to take effect, and I waited to get high, or I waited to get fucking, the spins or floaty, because that happened with that hookah like right away, and I go, dude, this isn't. I don't know if this is doing anything, man. It doesn't have any effect. And I go, let me take more of that. And Jill just started cracking up. She's like, you're gonna smoke that whole fucking thing. And I go, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to get fucking high, because you know what? If you're actively trying to get high, that's probably a mistake. If you're saying to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get high, this is going to be great, you should just fucking let it happen. But I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know if I was supposed to feel a certain way or if anything was going to happen, because I knew what that fucking hookah did to me. So Dennis goes, have at it, man. So he lit it and he passed it to me, and I took, a major, major pull, like really deep, and I pulled it into my lungs. But it was so intense that I've smoked cigarettes before, and then the hookah, and you put them in your throat, and it's warm, and it's kind of uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It kind of gets. That's when you want to cough, because it aggravates your uvula or whatever the fuck it does inside your throat. Well, when I took this last pull, I hit it really hard, and I was pulling it into my lungs. It felt like it felt like it singed my vocal cords. Does that make sense? It singed my throat. Because, I've had cigarette smoke, and I've had hookah smoke in there, and even dope smoke, a million years ago. But this, it was so intense, man. It felt like I had actually inhaled flames into my throat. But I held the smoke in, and my eyes started to water, and I wanted to fucking cough, but I made myself hold it in because I wanted to get fucking high, man. I'm like, if I'm doing this for once in my life, I even said it was funny. I made a joke to Jill. I go, we got to FaceTime my mom. I go, she's got to tell me how to do this. And Jill's like, you know what? That'd be perfect. Just the two of us like, hey, we really wanted to go get and try to get high. Can you tell us how? And we FaceTimed her and showed her how to fucking do a joint, or she showed us. But this third pull, I held it in, and then I exhaled it out. I did it both nose and mouth. And then we just sat on the porch and we watched lightning and stuff. And then we're going to go in and watch the baseball game. And, I didn't get floaty or high. Like, I didn't feel anything. I didn't think I felt any different. Jill said I appeared to be kind of different, but also she was different because she melted into her chair. Like, she was sitting up and she took 2 pulls, and then she's like laying back in her chair with her head kicked back, and she's like, hi. She got her feet up in my lap. I'm like, hi, how you doing? And she's like, I am relaxed. I'm really relaxed. And I said, all right, I'm on board with that. So we go into the living room. Den has a giant living room with a big, fucking flat screen. And we're going to watch the Cubs. So he throws the game on, and Jill's curled up next to me, and then about 20 minutes go by. Hey, that's the doorbell. I guess it rings in the basement as well. So I luckily I don't have to get the door because they're awake up there, probably hearing me shout through heat vents. That might be a neighbor who's going, hey, do you have a maniac shouting in your fucking basement? And by the way, did he get high in your backyard yesterday? Did that happen? That was weird. So I apologize for the doorbell, folks, but that just lends credence to the fact that I'm hiding in a basement from everybody and nobody knows that I'm here. So we go into the living room, and Jill kind of curls up like a cat next to me, and she grabs my arm and wraps her arms. She's got a hurt arm. She's got to move really gently and slow, but she wrapped her 2 legs around my one leg and her 2 arms around my one arm. And she's kind of clinging to me almost like a manchichi. She's like wrapped around me. You ever see those like gibbons that you can have? They have Velcro hands and feet, and you can wrap themselves around you. Yeah, it's kind of like that. She's doing that. And then after about 15 minutes, she's just like, is there any chocolate? And I'm like, of course. So I get up and I bust out like 2 of the giant bars, and I crack them into a bowl, and I bring them out, and Dennis is just like, oh, my man. And it was the munchies. I actually saw the munchies in action. Now I'll eat chocolate no matter what. Doesn't fucking mean anything to me. But oh my God, you know who's upstairs? I think, dude, this is what time is it? This is real. All right, yesterday, I got to tell you this. We were at dinner. And I told you Dennis loves all the kids in the neighborhood, and they love Dennis. So next door there was this little tiny kid. He's like 5 years old or 6 years old. And he squeezes, I can hear him. There's a kid upstairs. Holy fuck, get this story. This is amazing. I didn't think it was real. This little kid, he's in his backyard. And he starts yelling for Dennis, and Dennis waves at him, and his dad comes out and waves at Dennis. And then this kid sneaks into, he climbs over and he sneaks into Dennis's yard because he wants to go on the trampoline. So they're like, all right, go on the trampoline. You got to climb up on it. And then he went and got a little chair, and he climbed up in it and jumped on it. So Dennis has a peach tree, and the peaches are amazing. Dennis picked some of them yesterday, and he brought them in. And I'm not even a peach guy. It's just because, honestly, they're so fuzzy, they make me sick. I know that sounds weird, and everybody made fun of me here yesterday, but it just tastes like a juice-filled sock. I can't get past it. I put my tongue on it, it's all fuzzy, and it's just like, oh, this is fucking gross. It's like eating a fruity sweater, and I got no interest in that. No thanks. But his were very good. I was able to put the skin thing out of my brain, and I ate them, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is right off the tree. It was fucking really great. So this kid comes in, and he's jumping on the trampoline. He's doing that thing little kids do. And he's just like, hi, look at me. Yeah. And then Dennis goes, hey, I got my peach tree. And he goes, you going to help me pick those peaches? And the kid goes, yeah. And Dennis goes, all right, when do you want to do it? And he goes, I don't know, when? And Dennis goes, you tell me. I don't know what your schedule looks like. And the kid's like, tomorrow morning. And Dennis is like, all right, what time? And Dennis goes, are you in school? And the kid goes, yeah. And he says, well, what time? And the kid yells to his dad, Dad, what time do I go to school? And he says, 20 after 8. He goes, well, I go to school at 20 after 8. Dennis goes, fine, 7 a.m. He goes, all right, 7 a.m. And he goes, well, you know what? I'll have my people call your people. And the kid looks at his dad and he goes, all right, Dennis's people are going to call you Dad, because his dad was his people. It was fucking awesome. But he goes, yeah, at 7 a.m., just come on over and we'll pick peaches. And the kid's like, all right, but I got school. And he's like, no problem. So we left it at that. We thought it was cute and funny. It is now 7:18 a.m. here, and that was the doorbell. I hear a little kid upstairs. This kid actually came over to pick peaches. You got to be fucking kidding me. Before school? Dude, why are you not sleeping until forever? But when you're 5 or 6, I guess picking peaches with the neighbors is more important. Or maybe that kid came over to hit the joint. I have no idea. He heard there's half of it left. He heard the rest of the show. He's like, you know what? They got half of that left. I'm going to go get high and eat about 40 peaches. So I bust out the chocolate last night and I put it on the table. And immediately Dennis goes for it and Jill goes for it too. And then and I usually like will feed her a piece and she'll be like, all right, I'm full. But she kept eating the chocolate and she's feeding it to me. And she was crazy relaxed. And so we're watching the Cubs game and we watch about 2 innings. And I think it was like 9:30. And I was going to record the show. That was the whole point of me telling you this, is that I was going to record the show last night after dinner. But then, you know, fucking Cheech pulled out a goddamn joint the size of my leg and said, hey, let's get high. And we hit it, and then we went and sat. And I go, well, I'll watch a little of the baseball game. I bring out the chocolate, and I watch 2 innings, and I'm out. I mean, I'm fucking out like a light. Because again, like I said, I'm sleeping in microbursts. I'm falling asleep all the goddamn time. And sure enough, I'm on the couch and I fall asleep, and I know I'm asleep. It was that thing where I was hearing the game via like just my ears and like a radio, but I know I'm out. And Jill's out too. And Dennis, he wakes me up and he shakes me like, you know, with my shoulder. He's like, hey, you probably should go downstairs, man. You guys are out. And I said, no, man, I'm watching the game. And he goes, no, it's you're totally crashed. And I go, no, man, I'm listening to the game like radio. And he goes, all right. And he sits down, and then I'm watching the game, and then I fall back asleep. And I don't even know how much time is passing, but then he wakes me up again. He goes, seriously, you guys are crashed, man. You should go downstairs. And I'm like, no, man, I'm checking out the game. He's like, all right. And then he, like, the TV gets turned up really loud, and then he's like crunching chips really loud. And I don't know if that's real. I mean, that could be fake, because I mean, I was half asleep and not knowing what was going on. But I thought, then I wondered if I annoyed him. I made him feel bad that I fell asleep in his house and I wouldn't go downstairs. I don't fucking, you know me, folks. I'm an idiot. I read texts the wrong way. I'm that guy. So he finally just goes, hey, I'm going to crash. And he leaves. He just leaves us downstairs on the couch. And I look at Jill, and she goes, yeah, me too. And she gets up and she walks away. So then I'm just sitting on the couch by myself and just trying to figure out where I'm at. And so that I it's funny because I tell you, I'm like, oh yeah, this joint didn't affect me and I didn't get high. But I mean, I was sitting there and I didn't know what to do. Like everybody left me and I was sitting staring, and I'm like, do I stay here? Do I get up? Should I stay? Should I go? I clashed it. That's what I did. I was like, I don't know, man. But you know what cracks me up too is the fact that I just spent 2 weeks in Kuwait with young guys in a country where black tar heroin is probably 2 phone calls away, and nobody there said, let's get high at all. Not one of them. They were all excited to just see me and hang out. But then I come to my buddy's house of 35 years. I'm here for an hour, and he's like, hey man, let's go get some dope. And he's not even that guy. He only bought it as a goof to impress us because we can do it because it's fucking, you know, legalized here. But I was on the couch and staring and kind of fogged up and groggy, and I just got up and zombied downstairs and got undressed and climbed into bed and went right to sleep. And then I woke up at 4 this morning, and I'm in bed, and Jill looks at me, and it's pitch black. We can't see each other. But she's like, morning, honey. And I said, it's not morning at all. She's like, I know. And I said, what time is it? She looks at her phone. It's 4 o'clock. I said, I didn't record the show, did I? And she says, no, I don't think you did, honey. I said, that's great. I also didn't contact Mex about artwork, did I? She goes, no, honey, I don't think you did. And it's, you know, when I left for Kuwait, I told Dave, I go, just do 2 paintings that'll be about Kuwait. You know, and then we did the Saddam Spider Hole one last week. And then I had mentioned, you know, I thought we had discussed just it would be 2 weeks of Kuwait photos, and that would, because we were trying to figure out a way to do it. He's like, well, we're not going to be able to talk, so go ahead and do that. And I said, just do Kuwait photos, do some Kuwait paintings. And I didn't contact him yesterday because I was here. And again, like I said, I get running around. I'm still kind of scrambled. I've only been in the country for fucking 2 days, and then I'm here and I'm at a baseball game. I'm getting yelled at for my shoes, and my fucking legs are too long. And I didn't contact him, and then he didn't contact me. And so I woke up today and he still didn't contact me. So I'm like, all right, I didn't do the show and I didn't contact him. And so here's the show, but you'll notice the artwork. I just still don't know what the fuck I'm going to put up there. Maybe I'll hand draw something and take a photo of it. I mean, that's what I'll do. I'll do that. But right now I can't remember. I can barely remember anything. Literally the only thing so far about this trip is I remember getting high and I remember having steak. And last night I remember being groggy on the couch and getting to bed, but I forgot to do the show. I forgot to contact Mex about the artwork. But there is one thing I do remember. I remember the foot with a Matumbo wagging my face to prove it. You guys can get me at Mike Schmidt. Jesus fucking Christ. You guys can get me at Mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/The40YearOldBoy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/The40YearOldBoy. And you can get me at Instagram at Mike40YOB. That's Mike40YOB. Follow me on Instagram. I will tell you this. There was, again, very little Kuwait talk today. And it's because I want to make sure that I do it justice. I want to gather it and do it in a linear order. And I just didn't get the time to put the work into it that I wanted to. And I want to make sure that I do it. It was a fantastic trip, and I want to make sure I tell you guys about it in the best way possible. So that'll be next week. Next week will be the big Kuwait recap. But this weekend, I get back from Denver on Friday. I'm home Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This weekend will be spent posting photos to Instagram and Facebook and kind of chronicling the trip that way. And then I'll tell you a lot about it. So maybe you'll have like a visual thing that you can follow along with. Who the fuck knows? I've got plans. But next week will be the big Kuwait recap. Sorry, Ahmad. Sorry, Mohammed. Sorry, Abdullah. Sorry, Blind Abdullah. Sorry, Khalid. Sorry, Hamed. Sorry, Fawaz. Sorry, Fahet. But hopefully you guys will all come back next week, right? You should. After listening to me talk about an old man getting fucking high and getting yelled at about shoes. So, you guys, again, can follow me at Twitter.com and on Instagram, all those different places. Our friend David Hernandez does all of the artwork for the show, except this week. This week will be hand-drawn by me, or maybe Dennis. And or maybe I'll just put up a selfie of me and Dennis getting high. Maybe I'll do that. I just put up a picture of a fucking joint. Actually, I just put up a picture of a goddamn table leg on fire on the end. Dave Hernandez does all the artwork for this show. You can find him at artbydmh.com. That's artbydmh.com. Well, first of all, also go to facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and be his friend there. But artbydmh.com is where you can go ahead and get artwork from him. He will do personal stuff, private stuff, or you can buy his Gycons, you can buy his Valscapes. He's got all that stuff available, so check it out. Our great friend Ryan Dirks does all the web stuff for the show. Ryan is the best. Go to facebook.com/Ryan Dirks and find him. And Lily Von Stupp is the producer of this show. Oh my God, you can find her all over the place. She is at twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest, twitter.com/MNTs, twitter.com/Boobdini. You can go to facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp and look for her there. Just stare longingly at her page because, again, she ain't accepting no friends. Beat it, man, and post no bills. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out exactly how she feels about having to bear the weight of all of the Kuwait response next week when I show up and I tell her about it, and she's going to go, didn't you fucking talk about this the last couple of weeks? I'm going to go, no, I was waiting for you. And she's going to go, fuck. Ask her how she feels about all that. You can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
A child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way. There were no planes to catch, all the bills were paid. He learned to walk and then we played. He was talking for I knew it, and as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, around 6 o'clock, we'll get together then, yeah. You know we'll hit fireflies with a wiffle ball bat. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, yeah, okay, I got nothing to do, so why don't we play? And we played catch till it was time to eat. And then I had to start the grill, yeah. I had to cook dinner on the grill. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, about the same time, we'll get together then, yeah. We'll shoot hoops and watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, wanna come with me, Dad? Now give me the car keys. Let's go to 7-Eleven and get some Slurpees. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, about the same time, there's boxing on HBO, Dad. There's boxing on HBO. I've long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said, I'd love to, Dad. How about the same old time? You see, my new job is awesome and the kids will come too. Bears kick off at noon, Dad. The Bears kick off at noon. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, you're grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, all of the time, we'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. Did you like that song that just played? With no original artwork this week from our friend Dave, I decided to include an original song that I have not used yet. He sent it to me, I think, on Father's Day, and I was going to use it then, and we wound up tabling it, but there you go. Well, at least I hope I got it here on the computer. I shouldn't fucking talk. Right now, I think I have it. If you heard a new song, then all of this applies. If you didn't, if you heard another song, then say to yourselves, well, I don't know what Mike's talking about. He must still be high. I was never high, just tired. Want to remind you about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. It's in it's in the Nipple District of Hollywood, I was going to say. It's right there in the Nipple District. Go check it out. Fantastic ladies doing incredible dances. And I will tell you this, there's a big Halloween show. So if you're in Los Angeles, go ahead and buy tickets to the big Halloween show. It's Monday night at the Monday Night Teas, October 31st. I don't know if tickets are on sale for that just yet. But there's all sorts of great performers coming all through September and October, including the best performer of them all, our friend Lily Von Stupp, who's the producer of that show and of this show. And she's usually the MC of that show. She's always there. She's in the house, all gussied up. Business Lily will be on scene. So go and get tickets to the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Santa Monica at Vine, or on Vine at Santa Monica. Tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com, and you can go there and observe all the shows that are coming. Go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas so you can see who's been there, who's coming, who's going to be there, photos of past shows, and see the fun you've missed and the fun you're going to have. Go check it out now. And also, Lily has a Patreon page. I don't know if I've told you guys about that this week. I know I have not. I don't know. I shouldn't say I don't know. I'm just filling time. I do know that I have not told you, so I'll tell you now. Go to patreon.com/Lily. That's Lili, and support her in all of her endeavors as she tours the country, getting naked for strangers. You want to be on board for that. And I guess from what I understand, she's been posting topless photos and things like that. So please get on board with her and her breasts and pay her money to see them. Why not? That's how America works, man. You want to see those tits? Cough up some cash. Patreon.com/Lily. Help her out as she travels all over the place, establishing her name and her breasts in parts unknown. Please remember that this show is sponsored by Uber and Lyft and MileIQ. It's not really. They don't know that. But MileIQ, if you want to go ahead and use MileIQ, it keeps track of all your miles for your taxes. And I know you all pay your taxes, right? Everybody out there is successful. You're making dough. You're coughing up some money to Uncle Sam. You want to fix the roads. You want to make sure all the potholes are filled and the cracks are fixed. So why not use mileiq.com to make sure you're getting the proper amount of money parceled out to give them via your mileage and saving yourself money. Go to mileiq.com/invite/HFVHB. That's mileiq.com/invite/HFVHB to save yourself some money, organize your miles, and get me a gift card of some ill repute wherever I can use it online. I could probably use it at Adam and Eve. Grab myself a fucking vibrator and shove it up my ass because I've been fucking doing nothing else this week besides fucking walking in a circle and trying to figure out how to fucking live my life for a day and a half. As I got off the plane, I'm sleeping in microbursts. Maybe the dildo up my ass will keep me awake. All right, mileiq.com/invite/HFVHB. If you want to drive for Lyft, go to Lyft.com and use the code Mike720057, MIKE 720057. If you want to drive for Uber, use the code DJZW1YTTUE, DJZW1YTTUE. And if you're in the Los Angeles area, contact me. Because if you sign up, then if I sign up one person, two people, three people, whatever, my rewards are growing incrementally, and I could use those rewards as I climb back into the car later this week, or this weekend, or Monday, or whenever the fuck I decide to do it. I got to get an oil change. I got all sorts of stuff in front of me. But if you want to be an Uber driver and get right on the road, go to Uber.com, use DJZW1YTTUE. Remember the Lyft code. Remember the MileIQ code. These are our sponsors. Sponsor them, or patronize them, or patronize them, or patronize? Yeah. I don't know. Fuck, it's like 7 a.m, dudes. And I got high last night. I got a head full of fucking LA Confidential resin. I got 24% sativa coursing through my brain. We've done Lily. We've done MileIQ and all that stuff. Please remember that 2020 tickets are on sale for the September 19th show. Still no comics to announce, but hopefully this weekend I'll be booking people. I have several people in mind. I'm waiting to hear from people. I've received some no's, hoping to get some yeses, and then I'll have some names for you next week. And also it'll be on social media. I'll tell people who's going to be there. You buy tickets, come out and have a good time. It'll be fantastic. 2020, September 19th. Please remember to go to the Joe Business page at the MikeSchmidtComedy.com site. That's right, the MikeSchmidtComedy.com site. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and check out Joe Business. We've got download sets for sale, year 1 through year 7. And please, if Dylan and Steven, when I get home this weekend, that is dedicated to sitting down and parsing out all the problems that I have to do, answering emails that I haven't answered. I have 3 whole days to take care of everything before next week real life begins again. So I'll have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to jump in, figure out the link problem, and get everybody the things that are owed. I'm caught up on mailings, not so much. It's so funny because the shit that I used to send people online, it was just links. It was super fucking easy. Well, that's the hard thing now. You know, I used to hate going to the post office, but it was cool because I didn't mind sending people their stuff. But now that's all taken care of. And now I got to figure out the link thing. But anybody who I owe links to, please hang tight. This weekend, I should figure everything out properly. Get to town, upload stuff, and have it all on Dropbox, or figure out some other way to do it. Who knows? But on Joe Business, we got the download sets. We've got Schmitty Comes Alive, Schmidt Alive 2, and Stop Making Schmidt. Those are Podfest appearances. We've got the Your Dirt Dirt shirts available. We've got tweakedaudio.com. Go to the tweakedaudio.com/40YOB. All that neat stuff is available for sale. And we've got, of course, Word Pimp Schmitty and the Misanthropic Gangster. That album is available. We've got Heroes, which is the album Dave Hernandez did of original covers for the people who influenced him. Those are available for free with a $7 donation to the show. And the important thing also, as well, is Amazon. We have the Amazon link. There's a banner on the page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com's Joe Business page. Click on the Amazon link. You'll get into our store, which is barren. Perhaps I'll get onto that this weekend. Who knows? And then you'll click through in the upper left-hand corner. There's an Amazon link. Click through to that, and then you're using our code. You're buying. They're sending. I'm collecting. Look how great it is. They get money. I get money. You get stuff. It's perfect. It's the Holy Trinity. I don't know if that's true. But you're spending money, I'm getting money, they're getting stuff, you're getting stuff. It's perfect. So please do that. Use the Amazon banner, click on that, and make sure it's all great. And also Podfest. LA Podfest is available if you are going to the show or buying the streaming code. If you use our code 40YOB, that's 40YOB, you can save money, and I get money, which is great. I think you save $5 on the overall cost of the live stream, and then I get some cash from that. And if you get the live stream, that's good for a month. You get to watch everybody's shows, not just mine. If you're buying tickets, then you can come live and see all the shows and shake my hand and see me and come check me out. Saturday night, 7 o'clock p.m. is when I'm going on, which is great. That's prime time. That's prime time real estate for the Podfest, folks. I'm really excited about it. I'll be back in the Santa Monica room, which is tiny, but I don't give a fuck. Let's pack that motherfucker. So you guys will come out to that extravaganza, and I'll be there all weekend, man. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hanging out, shaking hands, getting backslaps and attaboys, having you guys tell me how much you love me. And I should tell you this, if you buy the live stream or you buy the tickets and you use my code, send me proof like our friend Mike did, and then I will somehow work your name into the show. When you watch me, when I do my show at Podfest, I will work your name on stage. And it's funny, I don't want to give too many away. I've already gotten several people who've contacted me and given me their proof and given me their names. And I don't want to give away how they're going to get worked in or if they're going to get worked in. What if I lied? The whole thing was a scam. But I have one person with a very challenging name contacted me, and they were like, haha, good luck saying this name. So I look forward to fucking that name up. But that's exciting. So please use the download code for OYOB for LA Podfest, and we get money, and you get a live stream, or you get tickets, and you save money on it, and everybody's happy. Well, I kicked the table. Everybody is happy on our side. Now, other podcasters aren't happy because you didn't use their code. They'll be very upset. So that's that, right? Is that... I don't know. I'm still scrambled. Again, it's fucking 7:50. There's a little kid upstairs picking peaches. I get my girlfriend sleeping naked in another room, and I want to just go in there, and I got no artwork. I got to draw that, too, and figure out how the fuck that's going to be and take a snapshot of it. Jesus Christ. What a mess this fucking week turned out to be. I've only been in America for like 4 days. I was in my house for 4 hours. Dude, it's still pretty scrambled. Now I'm back. I'm back for the whole month of September, and I got to get the routine going again, and stick with me. Bear with me. It's been amazing, but all these trips to Denver and to Kuwait and just having fun and trying to do the best I can to bring you the best shows that I possibly can. And thank you for bearing with me and me going solo. I really like being in a room with Lily. It's a lot better for me anyway. And but I can do it like this. I can do it with Dave, and I can do it with you. Do you want to be on the show? Contact me. How weird is that all of a sudden? Now I'm giving away guest starring slots. But you'll have to make the trek out to me. I'm not coming to your fucking joint. Although I have microphone and will travel. Everybody keeps seeing it and everybody thinks it's a weapon. It's funny, people will say that. They'll be like, oh, is that a weapon? I'll go, in my hands it is. Which is probably not the smartest thing to say in an airport. But what the fuck, who cares? You want to hook people in, get them halfway through a recipe and cut your fucking show in half. That's it. Do an hour about stew and then bail, get on a plane, and then come back and revisit it 2 days later, because that's the most important stew in the universe. Was there noodles or rice involved? Stay tuned!
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.